That one person who picked Essendon's definitely a huge Essendon supporter.
Mm.
What are they doing?
Yeah.
All right. You got it in your headphones, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So players starting to move into positions for the matchup, of course. So big game. Essendon up against Geelong. This is the country game, I believe, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, so looking at the substitutes just quickly, it is Archie Perkins for the Dons, and for the Cats, it is Mitch Duncan. A couple of debutants for Essendon today as well with all their outs. It's both Lachlan Blackiston and Archer May, both mid-season draftees. So interesting to see how they go today. It's going to be a very hard challenge for the Bombers, of course, going up against the much more fancy Geelong lineup. But I don't know, maybe the youthfulness of the Bombers can get it done today. I haven't tipped them, though.
It will be a tough task, but it would.
There you go. First gamer is going up against Shannon Neal. So Bailey Smith, of course, back in the lineup after missing last week. Lines up with Will Setterfield at stoppage. Big game for Essendon. The last couple of weeks, they've been very competitive. Just haven't been able to get it done. Need to fix up their slow starts if there are any chance today, though. You can see Mark O'Connor lining up as well against Nick Martin and Oyson Mullen. Straight to Zach Merritt, who's in the middle of the ground today. So it's 4th up against 10th. Can the Dons cause a massive upset, or will Geelong continue on their good form? First bounce and we're underway. From the first clearance, Goldstein tracks it down, missed the footy. Now Holmes immediately wrapped up and we'll get the ball back. Big game from Max Holmes last week. 40 touches in a massive best on ground performance. So again, Goldstein with the tap. Ricochets back to him. Breaks away from Stanley. Setterfield looking back, gives the handball off to McGrath, who breaks off the half-back line and drives it inside the forward 50. Long ball right, got there, brought it to the ground. Merritt trying to gather it, but Humphreys did well to clear it, only as far as Caldwell. He got tackled, got it away just in time, though, to McGrath, who ran a 180. Sends it back inside 50. Not a great-looking kick, and Blitzard should get the free kick. Had to lower his eyes there. Couldn't blow it long, and now Blitzars just works it back to Tom Stewart. Got back into a bit of form last week. Just a little lateral ball to find Sam DeConing on the outer side. Not a great-looking kick, but he finds his target. So just taking a slow approach here, the Cats, in the early proceedings. O'Sullivan just going back to DeConing. So kicked across the 50-metre line. Now they found Max Holmes on the open side. Blasts it long towards a one-on-one. Blitzars, who kept on running, did really well. Takes the mark. Gives off the handball. Now Max Holmes again. Great little work there. Chipping ball inside the forward 50 to find Stanley. Did well there, Max Holmes, just to check his kick.
They did that pretty easily there, the Cats, and there was just no pressure on the ball. They just did what they want, and yeah, they need to be right on here, Essendon, if they want to have any chance in this game. Not a good sign so far. Yeah,
it was a little bit easy. They've obviously had very slow starts the last 2 weeks against the Lions and the Blues, and it's definitely cost them going into this game. But Reece Stanley, tucked up in the pocket. It's going to be a tough kick for the ruckman, but you know what? He's giving it a fair crack. It's going to be stopped on the line by his opponent in Todd Goldstein. That would have been a goal if it wasn't for Goldie, I would imagine. So first score of the evening goes to the Cats. Short ball in the back pocket to find Nick Martin. What a year he's having. The kick wasn't 15, though. Pryor under a lot of pressure by Dangerfield, and the ball up. So inside the forward 50 here for Geelong. Goldstein, hook it down. He should have been and gets the free kick for a hold. So gives it back to Clark, who's had a good couple of weeks since debuting. Went one way, realised there was no options that side, so goes on the fat side. Dempsey should get the free kick. He plays on now. Low ball inside the forward 50, and the Cats are hot early. Good kick to find Manor. Well, early proceedings, Essendon locked inside their defensive half.
There's a few very undisciplined things. Just you can waste a couple free kicks that maybe not there, but...
Yeah, it was a pretty tough free kick against Dursborough, if we're being honest. But Sean Manor, an opportunity. It's been pretty good the last month or so, Sean Manor. So, of course, what a great story he's been. 40's time in the VFL for so many years for Werribee. Finally got his spot on an AFL list. And now he goes long and kicks the goal. First goal of the evening goes to the Cats. Sean Manor finishes nice from outside 50. Well, like you said, it's been pretty easy for the Cats so far.
You just sort of check some pride there. Like, Angus Clark's in his, third game, fourth game?
Yeah, Jackson Pryde's pretty much a veteran down there at the moment.
Yeah, and Pryde's been there all season, and he sees that Manor's running towards the leading lane, and he just stops and lets Manor take the easy, uncontested mark, really.
So we're back in the middle of the ground. Cats with the early dominance. So back in the middle we go. Stanley wins the tap down to Bailey Smith. He gets the clearance forward. Bouncing ball. Did well there, Pride, just to smother the bounce. The kick away was dreadful, though. On the bounce, Merritt did well to get it on the up to Goldstein. And now the Bombers are out. Dersma can take a bounce on the outer wing of the MCG. Low darting ball inside 50. Had the hands out. Couldn't take the mark. Got the handball out. Did well there to Martin. Shrugged a tackle. Handball back. Now they get the ball forward to the Bombers, to Guelphy, tucked up in the pocket. Nice looking kick, he's kicked it. In fact, it's Jade Gresham, but the Bombers with the quick reply. Well, they needed that one.
Yeah, 100%, yeah. And just saw Archer May get a few early touches as well, which was nice to see as a Bombers perspective.
Yeah, he's very clean with the footy as well. Nearly took the mark here leading out. Had to fight back and get it, but good work here from Nick Martin to shrug a tackle, but... Did very well there, Archer May, especially with a little bit of composure, you would imagine, when it was slipping over. Of course, he would have been probably forgiven in a debut game to fumble that footy, but he did really well to gain his composure here off slipping. Got the handball to the clear man in Gresham, who finished strongly.
Yeah, it was a nice, 15-metre handball just to be like, that little composure, be like, oh, there's the space for Gresham and gets it to him. Like, you wouldn't see that normally in a debutant.
Yeah, let Jade Gresham run without breaking stride.
Yeah.
So the Bombers desperately needed that. Said in the commentary a few moments ago, the worst starting team in the competition this year is Essendon, so they needed that one to get things going. Back in the middle, Goldstein with the tap. Setterfield threw that away. Bailey Smith got the handball out well. Stanley, Holmes shut down. Well done there, Martin. Ball it up.
It does look like, at least around the stoppages, Setterfield has gone to Bailey Smith.
Goldstein with the tap once again. Parrish. Quick ball to boot. Long goal. Went back with the flight was Guthrie. Play on, says the umpire. Guelphy off to Parrish. Just checked his kick nicely. Caddy should have taken that mark. Quickly get the handball away. Setterfield further back. Was that Roberts? It was. Martin got tackled. Just got the handball away. Ricochets now to Guelphy. Shrugged a tackle. Underground to Goldstein. They do it well here, Essendon. Roberts. Kako. Back to Roberts. Kick short. Did it well. So now Essendon hold this up. Low little kick from Lau and finds his target and right. They did that really well, Essendon. I thought they were going to muck that one up, but they found the free man eventually, and that kick from Lau was really nice. Obviously kicked the goal in his debut last week, kept his spot in the lineup, and that was a good kick too. So Peter Wright, he's had a pretty good season so far, a bit underrated. He's tucked up in the pocket here though. Kick goes across the face and through for a minor score.
Since he's been back, Peter Wright, it's helped their structure and he's been pitch hitting in the ruck with being Goldstein's number 2. So he's done all right. It'll be interesting how he does go well today because he's going to play a bit more forward, you'd think.
So Essendon, of course, the turnover here. Nick Martin looking for the 1-2. And the finish! Drills it into the post. Well, Essendon have had a few chances. So now they've just got to lock it in their front half. The kick outside the area from the Cats. They work it out through Holmes. O'Sullivan. Myers. Back to O'Sullivan. Back to Holmes, in fact. And they work it out okay, Geelong. And find Guthrie. He wants to play on. Fought past the tackler and Kako. Found it to O'Sullivan. Myers just holds up for the moment. Just treading some water. Gets the kick away off the left boot. Nearly hit his target. But now the Bombers can repel. Parrish should have taken that footy. Fumbled it. Mullen got a high one. They'll take the advantage here through Neil in the centre of the MCG. Looking for the lead. Cameron gets out the back here. Verde chases him to the boundary line.
Could be a big day for Jeremy Cameron. As we've seen recently in this matchup, Tom Hawkins has absolutely dominated, and he's back. And obviously, with Cameron being in good form since in the last month or so,
especially with Mackay out, it's going to be a tough matchup for Laverde. Goldstein took it out of the ruck, shrugged the tackle, then dropped the footy. Manor just got boots the ball, maybe a shoelace on it. Setterfield, Goldstein, further on to Lau. They work it well here, the Bombers, finding their captain in Merritt. Look at the kick, inside to Kako, and now the Bombers can go. Kako went to shrug a tackle, got the handball away just in time, but well done there for Geelong. Fought back in numbers. Holmes takes a bounce on the wing, gives a handball. O'Connor, for the moment, they're just working it through hands here. The Cats, they do it pretty well. Myers, Mullen, O'Connor over the top. Manor just kept it in and it threw it away. The pressure's lifted from Essendon. Should have been rewarded there, Roberts, taking the advantage. The kick on the inside was nice. The Bombers can go through Kako. Just holds up for the moment. Didn't really have a lot in front of him. Gives off to the handball. No. Clark. Oh, bad handball, though.
Set Johnson up.
Put him under all sorts of pressure, but they work it out again. They've done pretty well so far. Essendon trying to fight out of trouble. Dersma finds Martin centre wing out of side. A lot of new names here for Essendon. Hard to keep up early. So now Setterfield into the centre. Just further on to Martin, who's racking up the early touches. Off to Pryor. Further on now to Johnson. Had a good second game last week. He runs from outside 50. The kick inside towards Kako. O'Connor got a touch onto it. Wright should get there first. Has to find an option. Realised that he held that handball back and then dropped the footy. Atkins off the half back to Dempsey. Further on to Dangerfield. Breaks the tackle of Clark and works it on the outside. Close can go on the outer wing. Short little kick on the lead up was nice to Cameron.
Is that 50 or what was it?
Just holding the line there, Laverde. Don't think he'd mind too much Cameron this far out from goal, but he's always a good user. Close has got a lot of space in this pocket. Cameron's looking longer, but eventually checks his kick and turned it straight over to Setterfield.
Yeah, it wasn't the right move. Once in Greenwich, yeah, he took way too long to get to decide that one.
Yeah, so goes across the goal face and finds Pryor. He's got Clark as a handball here. He will give it to him now. Lowell on the outside, works it on the inboard. Kick wasn't great. Guthrie cuts it off. Atkins just kicks it across, finds Humphreys just outside the forward 50. Got the lead out the back, and who else but Jezza? Roberts actually did that nearly perfectly, but eventually just... No, they paid the mark. Yeah, they didn't pay 50, I was going to say.
They paid 50. That was a bit rough on Roberts. But, yeah, this is bread and butter for Jeremy Cameron. You expect him to nail this one.
Well, you'd almost put your house on it. Jeremy Cameron in the pocket, around the body on the left boot. Just a quick little squeeze of the footy as he always does. Bit of a trademark for Jezza Cameron. Shouldn't have to... Isn't he? He's very close, but not really much pressure on him as he snaps around truly. So Cameron on the board for the first time. And I'd be surprised if that's the only time he troubles the scorers this afternoon.
And Davey Roden loved it.
Oh. Haven't liked it lately. Davey Roden's been stuck on the bench a lot, I've seen, as of late. And I'm not liking it. I prefer him out on the ground. He definitely brings some entertainment to the goal umpiring fraternity. Yeah, I think he's in for a bit of a big day, Jeremy Cameron. I feel like it's a bit ominous early.
Well, if you look there, like, once there was a turnover, no one looked to find Jeremy Cameron, and he just had all the time in the world to find the empty space out the back, and Humphreys was smart enough and had the skill to get it over to him.
He was the player that they picked up for the pick that was given up for the Radicalia trade. So he could have been potentially in a Port Adelaide jumper, but... I'm sure he would have liked that a little bit more than a Radicalia at the moment. But anyway, back in the middle.
Jeremy Cameron takes the lead back with the...
After a big game from Jesse Hogan, quickly takes back the number one mantle for the Coleman. So Bailey Smith with the clearance. Touchdown, only as far as Roberts. Got a handball away, not too far. Caldwell working back against the grain. Further back they go. Johnson has to go back and track it. Oh, he goes to the ground. Has to get rid of it quickly. Did it okay. Pryor to Roberts. Now Lau under all sorts of pressure. He did really well with the handball to find Parrish. And then Parrish's handball put Pryor under all sorts of pressure. He gets a bit lucky there because Blitzars came off his boot on the full.
I didn't like that handball by Parrish there. Just like he literally got the ball, handballed it to Pryor, and just a 2-meter handball. Like
Yeah, it probably wasn't
going to be
needed.
better there, but
It's more experience. I think he's got to do something with the footy rather than just flick it off to a teammate quickly. So a long kick for Wright. Up he went. Couldn't take the mark on the ground. Oh, he given away the free.
I think he was pushed into the contest. Jeez.
Yeah, that's what they said in the commentary as well. So Blitzars further on. Martin up against Smith. 2 hard nuts. Worked it out for the Bombers. Martin to Caldwell. Handballed on to Wright. Try to give it back. Hit by Blitzars in the back. Get out of bounds. They're trying to get a bit of run and gun game here, Essendon, but they just can't get that player free. Maybe that is a free kick.
I think it is a better replay of that. But that was a good hit.
That was a good spoil there from Nick Martin.
Both players just bounced back straight back up. That's a free.
From the tap down, Blitzars, Parrish looking for the free, didn't get it. Dives back in, Atkins was there. Blitzars on the up to Smith, wasn't ready for it. Martin, handball on the outside, found Wright. They did it well. Handball, that was dreadful. Turned it straight over. Guthrie off to Smith, and now the Cats can go through run. Manor can go with the handball, decides to go with the kick inside the forward 50. Spurs off the outside of the boot, and out of bounds on the full.
It needed to be the right kick there by Sean Manor because he was going to a 2-on-1 and he could have just, like you said, given the handball back to Bailey Smith and run it forward. It would have taken a bounce.
Yeah, I think they could have just run that forward.
Yeah.
But now the Bombers can just work on the outer side. Pryor to Johnson. Short little kick onto the lead. They do it pretty well, Dersma. Oh, just a bad kick. Couple of terrible turnovers early. Stengel off to Myers. Usually a good user. Look at the kick. When you make a mistake against Geelong, they make you pay full price. And now Jeremy Cameron a chance here for his second goal.
Not a great start for Dersma in his 100th.
Terrible kick.
Got to do a lot better.
He must have not seen this player coming from the blind side in Stengel. Underrated season, I think, as well from Tyson Stengel. Hasn't had a lot of accolades so far, but he seems like he's back to that 2022 form.
Yeah.
So Jeremy Cameron already said this wouldn't be the first time we see him hit the score sheet a few moments ago, and he's got his second.
Looking very ominous for the... Yeah.
Oh, that kick from Dersma was terrible.
Once Stengel gave that to Myers, you just thought that was going straight to Cameron if he was there.
He was never going to miss a kick like that.
Yeah.
God, Cameron almost dropped that mark. He got caught like in his wrist. It was just that good a kick. It's a good finish there from Jeremy Cameron. So we're back in the middle. The Bombers have had some good signs early, but they've just made some terrible turnovers. Merritt trying to get it out of there. Atkins wrapped him up. Did well to get it off to Smith, who blasted inside the forward 50 once again. Neal up against the debutant. Neal did well. Fought hard. Close little tap on for Stengel. Can give it off to Manor. And the Cats, they're running hot. Great finish from Sean Manor. And the Cats have got 4 in the opening term.
Yeah, it's not a great start. And again, their first quarters have been pretty dreadful, and it seems like it's going to keep going. Once they hit the ground with all their smalls, the Cats, there
was always going to be a goal.
It's going all the way. Nick Martin's already had 10 disposals.
Yeah, he's been one of the few early on. Couple of the young defenders here of Essendon just learning about footy really quickly the early stages of this game. Coming up against one of the best teams in the competition, obviously going to learn a lot of mistakes early on. Got to learn from a lot of them. They've got to learn quickly here. This game's going to be out of reach really, really fast. Back in the middle we play. Stanley with the tap. Holmes fumbled it out of there. Caldwell stole it from Smith's grasp. Parrish on to Merritt. This guy needs to come into this game. The kick inside the forward 50 wasn't great. Stewart was held for a moment. Guelphy tried to get it out. Caddy got a boot to ball. Got it smothered. Kako trying to break away. The ball fumbles out somehow to Guelphy. Snaps on goal. He's got it. Well, I don't know if it was legal the way they got it out of there, the Bombers, but the goal's all that matters.
But the thing that I've always thought about the Caps defense is that if you create chaos inside their defensive 50, there are opportunities against this Geelong side. And this is exactly what happened. It was probably a good kick by Merritt inside forward 50, but once it hit the ground,
if the Bombers can just fight on the ground and bring the ball to the ground, put it into a bit of chaos like you said, I don't think Kako gets rid of that legally whatsoever. It was kind of like a throwing push, but all that matters is the finish. And Matt Guelphy, good finish.
All the smalls, and with Caddy good on the ground as well, it can work for the Cat. It can work for the Dons. So
they can get this working today. If they just win enough clearances, get that ball in quickly, maybe a chance. Stanley with the tap. Goldstein tried to grab it out of the air. O'Connor coming off the half-back line. Went to the ground. Merritt's wrapping him up. And be a ball up. So Merritt definitely playing through the middle so far in the early stages. Didn't play much there last week against the Blues.
He hasn't played there much in the last 6 weeks.
So Goldstein taps straight through as Caldwell parted the seas. Blasts it from inside the centre square. Goes across the face and Sam DeConing marks it.
No, horrible. That's the one thing that Geelong defense love.
Oh, the kick held up a little bit there for Humphreys, but he did good enough to mark it.
Yeah. Oh, it was Jack Martin, actually.
Oh, in fact, it's Jack Martin, number 19. Sorry, I forgot about that. Had a pretty decent game last week, so now the Cats can go on the commentary side. O'Connor got a fist onto it, runs out the back. Goldstein trying to get the handball on the inside. Dersma wraps up his opponent. Ball spills. Johnson, Gresham, handballed back here to Pryor. Further back to McGrath. They work it out okay. Johnson again. Like the look of this kid. The kick on the up did it nicely. Gresham. They can go here, the Bombers. The kick has to be perfect, and it is. They work it now to Kako. Blasts it long towards the one-on-one. Up goes Clark, I think it was. Couldn't mark. Right. Gives it off to Caddy. Snaps on goal. It goes wide. Too wide. Just in for a point. So just a miss there, Caddy. But he's looking a little bit dangerous. If he could find some clean ball, maybe. So Jack Martin playing in the back 50 for the Cats today. Didn't really see a lot of that throughout his career. A lot of the time he's played up forward in Carlton colours. So Smith, short ball to Martin. Back to Bailey Smith. He'll blast it from half back up the wing. Not a great kick. And Goldstein. Liked his start, Todd Goldstein.
With so much experience, he needs to be at his best if they've got a lot of chance here today.
So Johnson's kick, as I said, I like the look of him a few moments ago. The kick was not so good. A bit of a helicopter, cut off by Stengel. And now Atkins. They want to go on the open side here, Geelong. Humphreys can go. Goes with a very long ball, looking for his target, hits it. So now Dempsey, handball over the top to Holmes. Usually a good user, and the kick was perfect to Stengel. Well, unpressured kicks inside the forward 50. When a Geelong player has it, they're barely going to miss their target.
That was just so easy, that transition. There was just no touch at all. So many uncontested marks and just...
Well, 2 of their goals already came from that sort of play so far today. So Tyson Stengel, in a game that was dewy, wet, bit of a slog against the Gold Coast last week. This guy kicked 4 goals in a very low-scoring performance. He comes in now, 45-degree angle, 40 metres out, and the kick is perfect. No, is he at the post?
Shaved the post. That shaved it.
Well, wanted to ruin a moment there, Stengel. That's okay. So now Johnson given the responsibility with the kick in. Runs his full measure. Kicks it long. Jack Henry brings it to the ground. Humphrey was held for a moment. Play on, says the umpire. Smith got the handball out somehow. Cameron doesn't use his right boot. Comes back onto his left. Kicks it towards the perimeter of 50 and finds Myers. It's used inside the forward 50. I'll say he'll hit a target before he's even made the kick. Just got to spot it away.
Who was that?
That was Archer May in his first game. Really good spoil, but a turnover from the Bombers is going to be coming back. So O'Sullivan just goes right back to the last player in Jack Martin on the defensive side of the centre square to Stewart. And now he goes with a long ball to Guthrie. Long way up the ground. That's 60 metres out from the goal face. He can drive it long to the top of the goal square. Stanley's there. So is Neil. Stanley went up. Couldn't mark. O'Connor had a minute. Hit it into the post. Well, there's a few Irish stars in soccer, of course. O'Connor, don't know if he's done that too many times. Wouldn't have done that in Gaelic footy very often, but just couldn't get it on target there.
But again, that transition literally was so easy for Geelong.
So now Pryor trying to get outside of the D50. He blasts it long, looking for Wright. Good hands. Hang on a moment. He's giving away the free, Peter Wright. Well, someone has, but Blitzards will get the free. So 4.5 minutes to play in this opening term. Blitzards gives it off to Smith. Runs back on the inside, the left foot ball. Don't think he uses that kick very often. But Shannon Neal made it work. I don't know if Bailey Smith actually got a good kickoff there, but I think
kicking it straight to Essendon. That looked like where that was hit.
I think if Bailey Smith at the moment, I think you give him a little bit of the benefit of the doubt, being one of the Brownlow favourites. He drew him to the target, I would say.
Yeah, he probably just put him in place and said, Shannon Neal, you run to it.
Yeah, you do it. Just seems by every single game, this guy is starting to become that forward that the Cats fans want. Shannon Neal comes in, kicks it straight through the middle. That's a good finish there from the key forward.
The game before last week when he injured himself was last week, but the week before that he did have a pretty good. He kicked 5 against the Bulldogs game. 5.
It was only a few weeks ago. He had a really good performance when he kicked 5 goals. It was against wasn't West Coast, was it? It was the Bulldogs game. Yeah, he kicked 5 goals in a brilliant performance. Yeah, 3 weeks ago against the Dogs down in the Cattery. Yeah, he kicked 5 goals with 16 touches. Really came into his own. Last few weeks he kind of fell off a little bit, but I mean, last week was obviously a slog. They couldn't do much about that game. And the game before that was in the West. Yeah. Wasn't really going to be a game for him anyway. But the Cats just break away again to an 18-point lead. And obviously a very tough matchup there for Blackiston in his opening game. So back in the middle we go. Goldstein with a tap. Merritt tried to get the handball to Caldwell. Now Mullen socketed it off out of his grasp. Got tackled immediately by Roberts and a bit ball up. So definitely Mullen got that job on Merritt today. Merritt's had a decent start. So from the ruck, Goldstein went to the ground with Stanley. On the up, Mullen gives it off to O'Connor. The two Irishmen combine. The kick inside 50 to Neal.
Too easy again. No pressure in the midfield.
The kicking inside the forward 50 from Geelong has been unpressured a lot of the time so far in this opening quarter. So Shannon Neal, we've seen 2 goals from Cameron so far, 2 goals from Sean Manor. Opportunity for Neal to get his second. He'll kick right on the 50-metre line, and you know what? That has not moved any way but straight. He's got 2. That was as dead straight as you're going to get.
Yeah, this is very bad for the Bombers.
They're led by 24 points now, the Cats, and they're just starting to put a nice little break.
Well, as you've seen, I mentioned like 6 minutes ago, Nick Martin had 10 disposals. He's still on 10 disposals. He just hasn't had anywhere near the ball in the last 6 or 7 minutes.
Yeah, the pressure's got it. I think Brad Scott will be asking for his troops to lift up their pressure in the second term. Because if not, this game's going to get away from them pretty quickly. So back in the middle we go. Stanley couldn't get there. Goldstein with the clearance. Try to get it to a centre half forward, but immediately turns it over to O'Connor.
Seems like maybe O'Connor has gone to Martin.
So gives off the handball now Holmes to the runner in Humphreys on the left boot. Short little chiselling ball. Cut off by Blackiston in his first game. Gives it off to his captain who wheels onto his left boot. Short little kick. Finds Nick Martin. Merritt trying to run into a little bit of space in front of him. Martin went to go for that kick, still holding it for the moment. Low darting ball to 50. Look at the option. And now Caldwell looking for a kick inside 50. They do it well there, Essendon, and finds Jade Gresham. When they can get some flow in their game, Essendon, they're hard to stop.
Yeah, it was just probably their best matches to play. And it helps that they got into their best ball movers in Martin, Merritt, and Caldwell to get that in there as quickly as possible.
Yeah. Well, they'd hit 3 very experienced players to get this ball forward. But now, chance here for Jade Gresham. He's already kicked the goal so far today. Pretty much straight in front. 40 metres out.
Missed.
And he's hooked it.
He kicked the most impossible goal to kick the first goal for him. And now that one should have
been kicked, yeah. So a short kick here from Guthrie finds Stewart. And further on now to Humphreys, who's racking them up in the opening term. He just goes back to Stewart. We love to see it as an AFL fantasy owner.
Absolutely.
Stewart goes across the face, or to Bailey Smith. You just love to see that.
And he should go back to... No.
He won't go back. Don't think he's that. He goes to the long kick towards Holmes. Oh, chop of the arm, surely. Play on.
Wolfie did well there.
Guthrie, Henry, back to Guthrie. The Cats can work this out. Holmes, just little break away from the tackler. Goes across, back inside the D50, but they've got it on the open side. O'Connor. Short little dabbing kick to Myers. Oh, he put himself under a lot of pressure, but he took the mark in the end. Back inside, just sharing it around this D50. They've had about 8 different disposal getters in this chain, and they've moved it from one side of the D50 to the other.
Stewart again.
And they go back once again. Just trying to pad up the disposals, I would say, these defenders.
Why not? You might as well.
Kind of reminds me of like Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski. You remember when they were like, he has to get this receiver, or else he's not going to get that bonus.
Yeah.
So Guthrie did well, got the free kick. Gives it off to Smith. Short little kick.
Nah.
Did well there. Was Setterfield to knock that over the boundary line. So I think, like you said, at stoppage, you've got a couple of matchups, but as soon as that breaks away, the matchups kind of split. So Mullen definitely not going with Merritt around the ground.
And Setterfield actually seems to be going to either Smith or Holmes.
Yeah.
But
definitely at stoppage, but I think it breaks away pretty quick. So Stanley just taps it down, only as far as Dersma. Went one way, then another. Did well. Short little kick up the wing was nice to Martin. Gives it off the handball. Setterfield. Kick towards 50. Oh, not a good kick. Yeah. But there will be your quarter time scores. The Cats, dominant in the opening term. Essendon showing some decent signs, but the true quality of the Cats was hard to come up against in that opening term. The Cats lead it by 23 points at the first break. 6-3-39, lead the Bombers 2-4-16. Well, the Bombers probably did well not to get completely blown out then after was a lot of easy goals for the Cats in that first quarter. All right, let's have a look at the statistics. Nope. That one. All right, so let's have a look at the statistics looking in the opening term. Nick Martin top with the 12 disposals, 52 fantasy points. He was so dominant in that opening term. Mark O'Connor had a really good opening term as well with the 44, 10 disposals. Bailey Smith with the 11 touches and 40 fantasy points. Tom Stewart with the 7 touches, 6 marks as well with the 39. Multiple goal kickers. You've got Shannon Neal, Manor, and Jeremy Cameron all with 2 goals for Geelong, and for the Dons, only single goal kickers for Guelphy and Jade Gresham. Anyone you want me to shout out, Jack? 26. Zach Johnson on 25 in his opening quarter as well. 8. This is how we do it. Archer Daywicks and Archer May. This is going to be very frustrating to try and work out. One thing the Bombers can hold their hat on is they only kept Dangerfield to 1 touch.
Well, maybe that might not be a good sign.
Yeah, exactly. He's just about to make his way into the game. Oh. Jack Martin's had fucking 5 touches.
Yeah, what?
I didn't even know he even touched it. I only touched it twice, to be fair with you. This is how it do. Hey, on my way, on my way, on my way.
Do you want to apologise to me now about Tom Stewart? Or?
I never said it was a bad decision. On my way, on my way.
It's 54 to break even, and that's 15 points. You only got 47.
How you doing, Travis? Yeah, Bombers not... I feel like they could be a lot further down, I'll be honest with you. Home. Probably should take a whiz before the second term starts. No, you won't do that. Yeah, clearance to inside 50, 100%. Yeah, I'm not surprised by that. They've dominated the opening term when they got the ball. When they got the ball inside their 40, 50. So players starting to move back into position for the second term, of course. As soon as the Cats got the ball into open space, they were dominant. The Dons simply couldn't stop them. Can they find a way to answer in the second term, Essendon? So the second term is underway. Smith trying to break away from Setterfield, couldn't do so. Caldwell goes the other way with the kick. Bouncing ball towards Kako and Humphreys. Humphreys slapped it away, but Kako is good to respond. Handball forward, did it well. Guelphy up to Merritt. Cut back on the inside. Handball forward.
Oh.
Archer Day Wicks did it well. Tucked up in the pocket. Kicks it wide. How you doing, Cuzzy?
I don't think he was anywhere close to that goal. That Wicks.
Probably should have kicked to the top of the goal square, but nonetheless. So now Holmes in the back pocket. Kicks it up that outer wing. Looking for Stanley. Got hands on it. Couldn't take the mark. Goldstein just handballing forward. Kako took it well in the air, but Humphreys did well to lock him up. Got the handball out somehow. Daywicks off to Merritt on the right boot. Doesn't use that very often. Right was manhandled. Play on. Stewart. Handball on the inside to O'Connor, who's racking them up early. Runs his full measure. Kicks it out towards the outer wing for Dempsey and Stengel. Going back with the flight. Couldn't take the mark. Yeah, now Stengel got it back to Smith. Further on, gets the 1-2. And off goes Baslenka. Off that wing position. Kicks it towards half forward. Neil. Great signs for him. Low darting ball inside the forward 50 for danger. Off to Jessa Cameron. Oh, that's class.
That was...
What a pickup from Dangerfield. Off to Cameron. He's got 3.
Yeah, this is bad. this is not good. Just how easily I thought Shannon Neal was literally bodied Blankinston out of the way. That was way too easy, really.
It's going to be a bit tough for him in his first game of AFL footy, and he just joined the list, of course.
Yeah, it's not like... Well, when you have Smith, Neal, Danger, and Cameron, you're probably going to score most of the time in a passage of play.
Look at the pickup from Dangerfield, as good as you'll see.
Well, that's 3. That's 3 goals already.
So back in the middle we go. Goldstein with the tap. Caldwell immediately wrapped up by Mullen, and we'll get another stoppage. Well, the Bombers simply need the next goal. It's only 28 points, not a lot in the current age, but it's going to be a lot harder to fight back if they concede another. Free kick going Geelong's way.
He made the umpire really see that one.
So Stanley gets the free. Kicks a high ball, looking for Blitzers. Up against Lau. Too tall, too strong, too much experience.
Yeah, nah. Their defense is, just so on demand.
Then our Blitzers has all the time in the world just to work the kick short. And is that Cameron again? No. Oh, this is looking ominous. Like I said, he's already kicked 3 and we're in the early stages of the second term. Oh, it's a reversal against Bailey Smith, I think.
Great.
So Blackiston will get the free kick. Well, they get a little bit lucky there, the Dons. Short ball to Martin. Inside kick, bit of a push, play on, Holmes inside the forward 50, Dangerfield. Well, and quickly it'll snap over the top. Cameron, he could have left it maybe.
I think how he marked that was going to actually miss. So it was a smart idea.
So now Cameron comes in, he's got 4.
Yeah, this is within 3. Not even 3 minutes of actual play in the second quarter, he's got 4. I'm so glad I put him as Coleman.
Yeah, well, he had a pretty slow start to the year, but in the last 6 weeks, well...
I'd like to see this a free kick reversal against Smith.
So, where is he? He's down in the...
He's at the 50.
He's in the...
He's at 50.
There's a 50 with Setterfield.
So they're both fighting against each other, and then...
He dragged him to the ground. Yeah.
That's right. It's not reportable. He can still win with Brownline.
Oh, thank God.
But that was just like...
Yeah, Nick Martin.
Nick Martin is just... he's trying to open up the ground, but it's just like, you're a defensive 50. Like, think about it. Yeah.
Probably feels a little bit more under pressure as well, being it's one of the more experienced players in the team. So Setterfield gives it off to Merritt, further back to Johnson. So now they can rebound off the half-back line, get one in response. Kicking towards his target at 50. Free kick's going to go Guelphy, but Lau takes the advantage. He has a couple of options with the handball, works it wide to Caldwell. Setting it up to the top of the goal square. You got Caddy, you got a chance, and great steal from Dempsey.
I don't actually know why he did that, Caldwell. He could have bounced another and walked into 40 and then had a shot.
Caldwell should have just had the shot.
Yeah, you're not like Caddy's a good player, but to take a contested mark like that was
going to be tough.
Really tough.
So Stengel, little kick up the wing, bouncing, holding the line for the moment, but Mullen did well to keep it in. The kick inboards wasn't the greatest, bouncing for Guelphy, did well to gather it. Setterfield off, and now Blackiston on the left boot, works it out wide, kicks to grass, Did well there right up against Henry. Ball gets out the back. Humphrey. Just a little run to get away. Get a little short kick up the wing. Hit his target. And Guthrie. Further on to Smith. Right in front of the interchange gate. Up for his 14th touch of the game so far. Missed last week through hamstring tightness or awareness. Didn't cost them in the end. So kicks it towards half forward. Gets out the back. Pryor. Handball on. Miss Johnson. Myers. Got beaten by Johnson. Did it well. Now Pryor wrapped up by Dangerfield. Held in dispute. Ball up.
They seem a bit panicked, the Bombers defense. It's just a perceived pressure that they've got as well, I think, at the moment.
Yeah. I think the Cats, even though they were pretty good in the opening term, they've just lifted their pressure a little bit more. So Atkins trying to get away. Stengel shrugged the hips, tried to get a handball away towards Dangerfield and missed his target, runs out again.
I think he was just amazed that he actually had a bit too much space there, Stengel, and he was like, oh, wow, what do I do with it? And he handballed it.
Yeah, just handballed it quickly, realised there was no one really on him. They probably could have turned around and had a shot. So back in the ruck we go. Neal with the tap. Caldwell. Handballed at the back. Clark. In his fourth game, I believe. Kicks it long towards the wing to Koning. Has his name written all over it.
Too easy.
So goes back into the corridor looking for O'Connor. He's got Myers with a short along with Guthrie. Decides to blast it high and long. Looking for Dempsey. Good mark.
Ooh. Good.
And Lau put a little bit of body into him too.
Man.
Well, this guy, despite playing on the wing, such a huge weapon as a goal scorer as well.
I think he's too far out.
We looked around for a target early on, but now he points high. Just going to set this one up, looking for a flyer. Neal, Cameron, Dangerfield, all of them could be up there, but Goldstein's the one who takes it.
It wasn't to any of their forwards' advantage.
Yeah, it wasn't a great kick.
Oh,
Goldstein's kick across the face of defensive goal to Johnson. Short little ball, hits up Roberts.
Yeah, Johnson has played pretty well today.
Yeah, he's had a few early touches, seems to have some good signs. Just has nowhere to go here, Archie Roberts. Just has to try and forge a path himself. Kicks it wide. Caddy was there. Good mark from Setterfield. For all that effort, they've got half back, and he's just got nothing to go to.
With Caddy in that contest, they've got no other forward target now.
So it goes right back to Laverde in the last line of defence. Kicks it to McGrath, just inside their D50. So now he goes through a bit of a run, a bit of a gallop, trying to get something going. Good kick to Kako. Centre wing, commentary side. He's got an option on the outside. Decides to go more corridor. Kick was almost... Oh, in fact, it was perfect to Gresham. Good mark. Plays on. Goes for Caddy. Not a good kick.
No, it wasn't. That was...
And Connor O'Sullivan, just easy little intercept mark.
Just too much. He just did a little bit of body, and that was all. It wasn't enough to...
Yeah, the kick was straight on his head. There wasn't much he could do. No favours whatsoever. So De Koning just finds Jack Martin at halfback. Don't mind him in this role, actually. He's played some pretty decent minutes so far.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how he gels into this team.
So O'Connor gives it back to Jack Martin, going for a bit of a gallop. Kicks it towards Bailey Smith, still inside the D50 here.
I think Setterfield has gone to him in the last 5 minutes.
Well, he want to go a little bit harder because he's had about 6 touches in this second term. So Dempsey, back to De Koning. Got it kick smothered. Well done there, Caddy. Fighting the fight. Goes to Smith. Handball to Dempsey. Further looking for Smith, but Setterfield pushed him off his line for the moment. De Koning and Smith away again. Great work from Parrish just to disrupt the handball as it runs out of bounds.
It just seems very hard to be able to stop Bailey Smith from actually getting the ball at the moment.
Well, something that's probably not talked about enough of Bailey Smith. He's such a workhorse. Just will always keep on running all day. So back in the middle, back with the ruck contest. Goldstein immediately down to Atkins, wrapped up by Parrish. And another stoppage. So De Koning currently got an issue with maybe a wrist or a finger. Looks like it's a wrist on his left hand, so hopefully he's okay. He's been good so far. Setterfield tackled by the tackling machine in Atkins. Got it out somehow. Shoveled it only as far as Guthrie. Myers almost threw that away into the middle of the ground. Gathering it almost in the end was Gresham.
Sorry, that is holding the ball.
And the umpire's going to pin him there.
Yeah, 100%. For some reason, the Bombers player...
I think it was Merritt just sat on top of him.
Yeah.
Just made it an easy call for the umpire. Well, De Koning's coming off the ground, so not great signs here for the key defender. Would be the only thing going wrong against the Cats' way in this opening quarter and a bit. So O'Sullivan works it wide to O'Connor. The Koning is making his way off the ground now. Still, holding that wrist. So blast it towards half forward. Blitzars is there. Had a jumper held. McGrath came off his boot. Blackiston held up immediately by Neil. And a ball up. So locked up just outside the forward 50 here for the Geelong. Throws it back up. Goldstein tapped down immediately to Parrish. Setterfield underground. Found Dersma. Oh, he's in a bit of trouble. Got it back to Parrish, who fumbled at the crucial stage. Got it back. Johnson wasn't ready for it. Come off the ricochet. Now Dangerfield. Out the back. Dempsey 2-on-1. The Cats just have to talk it out. Dempsey, great mark. Kick and missed.
Wow.
Well, maybe the point of the year.
That's probably the worst. Yeah. I actually saw that coming. That it was going to play him straight away, but I don't know. I think you don't want to be over reacting to that, but if he kicks that, they're up by 40 points.
Well, I don't think they have too many concerns at the moment for the Cats, but that was a gimme goal. So long kick here towards Caddy. Great spoil from O'Sullivan. He's had a good game so far. Blitzars gives it off to Smith. Running back on the inside. The kick inside the forward 50. Almost perfect to Dangerfield. Just gets past him. Roberts. Handballed further back to Johnson. Doesn't have a lot of targets, so just works it to give it to McGrath. He now blasts it outside the defensive 50. Looking for a pack of players. Out the back. Couldn't take the mark. Only as far as Smith who got rid of it just. Guelphy threw a boot at it. Couldn't get it away. O'Sullivan wrapped up. Here it is again. Dempsey took the mark, immediately played on and missed. A lot of Essendon supporters pretty happy with that behind the goals.
They've got nothing much to cheer about at the moment,
So Atkins just immediately wrapped up there by Caldwell. So just on the attacking side of the wing here for the Cats. Right, taps it straight down. Parrish, good handball on the up. Dersma, further back to McGrath. Now Parrish. Went back on the inside. Doesn't have a lot of options. It just has to go high and long up the wing in a contest. Martin, watch the footy. Good grab. In fact, it was Humphreys.
Kako was trying to get some body there and just...
Probably should watch the footy.
If he just watched the footy, he turned around and watched it, he would probably at least had a good contest there.
So Stewart works it on the outside now. They've already got it to centre wing to find Guthrie. Further on to find Close. Holmes is on the inside. Decides to just hold it up for the moment. 35 points the margin. It feels like so much more than that, though.
Goes back to Stewart.
Well, they're just playing with them at the moment. Playing with their food a bit, I would imagine, here, the Cats. Drop mark there from Humphreys. Maybe his worst mistake of his young career. Kako gives it back to Guelphy. He's a long way out. Inside the centre square. This would get the crowd up and about. Misses. That went through, surely.
That went through.
No, Davey Roden just said, no, that's play on. Keep on going. So Stewart decided to. Kicks it long. Finds O'Sullivan.
And the thing is, he couldn't really stop there because if he
hang on.
Yeah.
No, they've called it back here.
Oh, my God. They've rushed. Yeah, it's like, because he can't really rush it because it would have been it would have been deliberate.
Well, Davey Roden is the goal umpire back there. He was pretty confident that wasn't a behind.
So if this isn't a behind, it's going to be a ball up.
Oh, come on, Davey, you got to be better than that, mate.
It actually is a behind.
Yeah.
And the shitty thing is that if Tom Stewart doesn't get the touch there.
Well, it is a point. So the Cats were all the way down the other end, about to go inside their forward 50, and the ball's going to have to be brought all the way back.
It was against Essendon.
It was too.
At least Tom Stewart's getting the ball here.
It happened that long ago. I can't even remember who got the point. So it comes all the way back to Tom Stewart now, who can kick it in. So he doesn't lose that disposal. Goes to the very long ball on the outer side. Lau went up, couldn't take the mark, and now the Cats can go. Holmes takes a bounce, can go long with the kick, looking for Neil. Too much on it. Laverde cuts it off. It probably should have been 50 there, but Laverde just holds up. Goes back. Here now Clark finds Wright. Players on, doesn't have a lot to go to here. Playing in the ruck at the moment, Peter Wright. Nice looking kick. Hits his target and Caldwell. Really coming into his own in this year, Jai Caldwell. Was very good in his last season playing through the midfield for the Dons. And now has an instrumental role in there. Goes to the long ball. Henry has his name written all over it. Probably should have marked it in the end. Humphreys in front on the left boot. Chiseling ball up the wing for O'Sullivan. That's a good grab.
He's had a good game as well.
He's had a good season, O'Sullivan. The apprentice to Tom Stewart. Blasts it long towards Neil. Gets out the back. Under all sorts of pressure. Clark did well actually in the end. Pryor. Handball towards Dersma. Did well. Martin on to Setterfield at half back. Low ball up the wing. They did that well, Essendon. And hits up his target in Archer May. Long ball. Looking for Caddy. Stewart had his name written all over it. He's been doing that for 200 plus games, Tom Stewart. So here's Tom De Koning's injury. Shoulder against shoulder. And then immediately grimace. But he's...
Though I think it's when he hits the ground for his...
So Sam De Koning just under the MCG at the moment, getting his arm checked. I think it's a wrist. So Manor tracking the footy. Good tackle from Dersma over the turf. Immediately in front of them there for two boundary riders. So back in play. Merritt hardly seen it in this second term. Manor immediately tackles him. So game in a bit of an arm wrestle now. Well, I think Essendon have done well to stem the bleeding, but
I think that's what's happened is they've stemmed the bleeding.
Yeah, but I mean, it seems like it's a damn wall that's just ready to break open. Well, what's Brad Scott got in his armoury here to try and get something going their way?
Still 7.5 minutes in the half.
They need Merritt, someone to spark them. Tap down immediately to Parrish. Further on, Dersma. Now Setterfield. Oh, that's a bit of an up and under kick. Bit of a questionable one. Went up. Went on there, Roberts. Fight for it. Parrish. Off to Merritt. That's completely a throw. Play on. Stanley, Holmes, Smith. Off they go. Handball over the top. The close. He can give it back to Baz. He decides to shut him off for the moment. Eventually gave it. Myers. He'll look for a pass. Eventually gets back on that right. Kicks it across the 50. Cameron couldn't mark, and Lau did well with the turn. The handball's a bit dangerous. Dempsey fumbled, kicked it out of the grasp of an Essendon opponent. Now Cameron on the right. He's done everything in this first half, but he can't finish on that right boot.
That was so lucky there, the Bombers, that didn't go through for a goal.
God, they're lucky. Yeah, they are very lucky.
Ugh.
So Laverde goes back here to Roberts. They've been stuck in this area so much in this second term. Have not kicked the goal in this second term, the Bombers. So Roberts blasted high, looking for someone to go up. Blackiston was there, couldn't mark. On the ground, Atkins, Smith, a tumbler inside 50. Not paid the mark. Probably didn't hold it for that millisecond that he needed. Now Merritt is gone. He's gone. Brad Close, hot on the pressure. Merritt just tried to get back onto his left boot, but Brad Close was not going to let him.
It was the fact is that like you said, he didn't have a right foot, and if he did, he would have got rid of it.
A little bit of the unsung hero, Brad Close, in that small forward fraternity, but plays such a pivotal role. Runs out for a bit of an arc to get that little bit of distance, and that's all he needed. So Brad Close kicks his 100th goal of his career. And they get another one. 41 points now. And this game, I said in the tips throughout the week, this had a bit of a 60-point flogging written all over it. And right now, we're already over halfway there.
Whoever is on Bailey Smith really actually needs to do something on him. Like, he's had 22 disposals already, and it's not even half time, and there's still 5 minutes left in the half.
Oh, he nearly smothered that there, Merritt. He kicked that under his arm. I'd be pretty pissed if I'm Zach Merritt looking at that. So 5:42 left on the clock in this first half. Bombers are still yet to trouble the goal scorers in this second term. Back in the middle we go. Stanley with the tap. Parrish was taken high. Umpire says play on. Stanley wrapped up. Got it out somehow. Holmes, part of the season, ran away from him. Got the handball away just in time. Mullen off to Myers. Such a good user inside the forward 50. Who's his target this time? Dangerfield couldn't take the mark. McGrath worried out of it for the moment there by Stengel. Gives it back to Daywicks. Quickly onto the boot. Outside the defensive area for the moment. Got a bad bounce there was Martin running after deep. That's gone on the full, I think.
That's on his forward, isn't it? Yeah, it was, yeah.
So Guelphy will get the free kick here. So Matt Guelphy has the footy at half-back. Now goes Long with a kick. Looking for Caddy. Gliding across the front, couldn't take it. Kako read it well. Tried to break away from a tackle, couldn't, but got rid of the handball. Daywicks off to Parrish. Going wide towards Dersman. Had an arm held, and he gets the free. So Dersman will get the free kick just outside the forward 50. Well, to say they need a goal here is a huge understatement. He played on, so now just has to go high and hope.
No.
Henry going to come across here in front of Goldstein and just paws it to the boundary line. Immediately as the kick went in, you went no, because as Geelong have done for 20 years now, immediately when the ball goes high and long, they just spoil it to the boundary. So Bailey Smith just having a massage on the bench. The hamstring getting a huge workout in this opening half. He's already had 22 touches. So throws it back into play. Goldstein, great tap down to Merritt. Oh, even he can't get them one. Kicks it across the goal. Oh, good mark.
That's mark, surely. Oh, he didn't pay it. You serious?
Archer May had hands on that. I don't think he held it
as well, isn't it?
I don't know if it's a mark, but he's definitely been dragged to the ground. I would like to.
He's all over him.
Should have been given a free kick at least. So back in the ruck. Brings it to the ground. Atkins. Oh, he's almost gone. Got rid of it just in time. And off goes Holmes. Streaming off that half-back line once again. Short little dabbing kick finds Stengel. Holmes will keep on running. Off he goes. No one's going to catch him. He's on full flight. Max Holmes. Oh, great work from Setterfield. Oh, no. What a terrible handball by Laverde. Oh, he got lucky there.
I thought Setterfield was going to pull a hammy then. When he was doing,
Jesus Christ. Great chase from Will Setterfield. I didn't know he had that in him. Great work from Will Setterfield. Maybe that will lift them. Max Holmes, he's very hard to chase down, but Setterfield did everything there to stop that being a certain goal. Pryor kicks it out of the defensive area. Right. Handball on the up to said chaser, and Setterfield still running. Got the kick away towards the wing. Good work. Who knew Will Setterfield was the pacing man of the Essendon Footy Club? Stop giving it to him. He's really tired. So Setterfield just on the up here finds Parrish. On centre wing. Kicking towards 50. It's a good looking ball. Good mark. That one's paid to Archer May. Nate Caddy's in the goal square, but you know what? The debutant says, I've got this covered.
Jeez. Be a nice kick if we can do it.
Well, a mid-season draftee, Archer May. What a story. He was the first of their 4 picks in this mid-season draft, Archer May. And has a lot of confidence on this kick. He's a long way out from goal. Fingers crossed in the crowd from the family. Can May get the distance? From outside 50, he goes to the long ball. It's a bit of a helicopter. Oh, on the line, I think it's been touched. Oh, no sense of theatre there from the Cats defenders either. He's had a couple of opportunities though.
It was an absolute...
it was a bit of a floater, eh?
It was a floater.
Oh, you know what? He is very close too.
Yeah, I think if he actually kicked it well, that goes through.
Well, speaking of the man, he's having a few moments. Nearly got the footy there.
He's actually, he's only had 3 touches, but the 3 touches in the other stuff he's done, he's actually been very good. And he's...
If Peter Wright gave a little bit more effort on the line, I think he could have been able to shepherd it through.
Peter Wright slipped.
So inside the forward half here for the Bombers. Tap down from Stanley. Manor stolen by Merritt. Inside the forward 50. Little dab kick was perfect. Didn't look like it for the moment, but it was actually well done there from Zach Merritt. Well, they've kicked 2 goals 7.
But they haven't kicked a goal in this quarter.
They haven't kicked a goal in this quarter, and I've got to tell you, that 2-7 flatters them a little bit with 9 scoring shots because they have been well dominated in this opening half. But 3-7, 34-point margin, gives them a little bit of hope. He kicked one early in the game, Mac Welfie. Has a big role on Tom Stewart in this game, and I think Stewart's definitely won that role so far. But if Mac Welfie can record a second goal, nice little evener-upper. Not much angle, not much distance, not much problem. Good finish there from Guelphy. He's got 2.
They desperately needed that. And in the shadows of half-time, maybe that's a good sign.
Well, this man in Zach Merritt needs to come into his own and have a blinding second half if his team's any chance.
He has to do what he's done in the last 2 years as captain.
He's going to have to carry his side here.
Yes, yeah.
He's gone with a W sign, and then I think it's an M. I think that's what it was. Maybe for Matt. I don't know. I'm a little bit more of the younger age, but I don't even know what that meant. He's had some signature celebrations in the past, but that will be recalled. So a minute 45 left. If Essendon can just hold this margin, maybe get another one back, they'll go in with a bit of momentum into the main break. Just throw it up, umpire, for fuck's sake.
It doesn't matter if he's 2 centimetres away.
So Goldstein with the tap. Smith got rid of it just in time, but Caldwell coming away. Got tripped up in the contest. Goldstein trying to get a handball away, but it was interrupted. And now Holmes away again. Caddy trying to chase him down. Just couldn't get there in time. Holmes blasts it long towards close. Well, gives Kuhlhoff the quick handball. A little bit of a blind one towards Dempsey. Good spoil from the debutant in Blackiston.
Oh, no.
But now Stengel! No.
Oh, it was out. I think he kicked the point anyway.
So Jeremy Cameron standing up against Angus Clark here. What a responsibility for the kid. Jesus Christ. Get someone else on him, please.
He's asking for someone.
So forward stoppage. Who's going to go for a bit of a run? It's Dersmer who gets through. Handball on the outside. About to get shut down. Got rid of it just in time. Clark did well. They work it through hands nicely here, the Bombers. Work it to Roberts. Dribbling ball outside the area. Caddy. Good take. Here's a chance. Kick bouncing wide here for Martin. And now goes inside with Caddy, and away go the Bombers. The young stars in combine. Gives it off to Merritt. He's got a couple of options. Gives it off to Guelphy. Not a good handball at all.
He had to kick it to him.
And now the Cats can repel off halfback. Blitzars now. Goes to the wide long ball. Looking for Stengel. Did well Setterfield. He's had a good second term. The little step around. Gave it towards Martin. Didn't get the bounce he wanted. Merritt fought back into it. Blackiston couldn't gather it. Guthrie held up. Had a moment to get rid of it. Umpire gives him a reprieve. If all players to muck that up, Zach Merritt wouldn't be the top of my list. So Goldstein tapped down to Merritt. Threw that out. Play on. Roberts. Setterfield. Broke away from the tackle of it. Then Mahomes got him back.
Free kick, surely.
Must have not held the tackle, maybe the umpire. Now Stewart. Off to Guthrie. And he works the kick out wide towards Jack Martin. Decided to shepherd instead and made Humphrey go get the footy. 10 seconds left. Maybe a late chance here for the Geelong. Kicks it towards the one-on-one in Dangerfield. He played on from 50. Patrick Dangerfield. It's going around everywhere in the air. But eventually it trickles through from behind. Right on the siren. I think everyone in the crowd was ducking and weaving trying to follow that footy. But eventually it's only a behind. So at half-time, the Cats lead by a pretty comfortable 35 points. 9-6-60 Geelong lead the Bombers 3-7-25. All right, guys, we're back in about 20 minutes or so with the second half. I don't think I changed this, actually.
Today's a little bit of a different video. I wanted to actually do the rest of the season predictions because I thought we're getting to about halfway through the season now. And at the start of the season, of course, did a prediction ladder of where I think teams are going to be finishing. So first we're going to look at the prediction that I had at this stage of the season, and then we're going to be comparing that to the regular ladder. Of course, then after that we're going to be predicting every other game going for the rest of the year, predicting what team's going to be making finals, what team's going to miss out. So if you do enjoy this video, guys, of course, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. But first of all, here is my ladder predictor for the middle of the year from the start of the season. So looking at it right now, there's a little bit of differences. Of course, I had the Swans, Port Adelaide in the top 8. That hasn't worked out at all. The Crows I've had outside of the 8, which hasn't worked very well. West Coast I had at 4 wins. That's not very good at all. And the Tigers, with 1 win, they have really outdone themselves so far this season. But I think they've surprised a lot of people. I did have the Lions up the top of the ladder and Collingwood in 5th. So there are a lot of differences. I didn't get it right whatsoever. Maybe some other teams can make a bit of a charge or fall off a little bit more, so my prediction's a little bit more correct. But nonetheless, that's what we have it at the moment. So guys, from round 13 onwards, we will predict the rest of the season. So the first game is, of course, next week's Thursday night contest between the Dogs and the Hawks. Interesting game. Hawthorn not in the greatest of form. The Dogs coming off the bye, which always just gets me a little bit iffy. I'll pick the Dogs in this one. I think they're in better form. The Crows against Brisbane Friday night at the Adelaide Oval. Adelaide Oval, you have to pick the Crows, but big game for both teams. This is going to be an interesting one. Richmond up against the Swans. Honestly, I think the Tigers are in better form. I'm going to pick the Tigers, especially at the MCG as well. It'll be close though. I'll give them that. This is a big game too. Geelong up against the Gold Coast down in Geelong. I'll go the Cats because it's a Geelong, but a good game. GWS against Port Adelaide. Giants haven't really been that great lately. Port Adelaide haven't been much better. I'll pick the Giants. North Melbourne up against West Coast. Oh, this is in Perth too. Coming off the bye, West Coast have been better the last few weeks. I'll go the Eagles. I'll pick them in a bit of a surprising one. Carlton up against Essendon. 2 traditional rivals, of course. Essendon, I'm actually going to pick the Bombers. I've liked them the last few weeks. And then Collingwood win this one pretty comfortably. Round 14, Bulldogs up against St Kilda. I'll go the Dogs. This is in Tassie. I like the Hawks in Tassie, even though they're not in the greatest of form. I'll pick them. Gabba, yeah, the Lions win that one. And the MCG, yeah, the Cats are pretty comfortable winners there. Perth, of course, Fremantle and North Melbourne. This is a North Melbourne home game, but I would pick the Dockers. Melbourne versus Port Adelaide Oval. This is such an interesting game. I'm going to pick Port Adelaide because it's at Adelaide Oval, but Melbourne, I mean, they've been better than Port the last couple of months. I'll pick Carlton. West Coast never can be able to get the job done against them. Fremantle up against Essendon in Perth. Yeah, Essendon don't play well over there at all. Brisbane have been okay at Kardinia Park in more recent times, but I will pick the Cats. I find it very difficult to pick against them when they're down in their home turf. Blues up against North Melbourne. Yeah, I'll pick the Blues. Adelaide Oval, Sydney v Port Adelaide. We have such a bad record against the Power. I'll pick the Power there. Collingwood, it isn't Docklands, so it does give St Kilda a bit more of a chance, but I'll pick the Pies there. Ooh, the Expansion Cup. This is going to be an interesting game. It is in Sydney, but I like the Gold Coast. I'll pick them there. We're still in round 15. Bulldogs win that one. I think they'll win that one pretty well. It won't be a smashing, but they'll win that one pretty well. Adelaide Oval. I'll pick Port. Carlton, I don't like at Adelaide Oval. I'm off Sydney right now. Lions win that. The Dogs will win that one pretty comfortably. Gold Coast up against Melbourne. In the Gold Coast, they win that. Tasmania. So North Melbourne played a bit better, but I think Hawthorn win that one pretty well. Docklands again for Collingwood. Oh my God, they have to go down to Kardinia Park. They have to go down to Marvel Stadium. I hope they feel okay. They'll win that one probably. MCG, Richmond. I like the Tigers a little bit here, but I'll go the Crows just because they're a better team. And yeah, I think they're going to be in good form going in towards the end of the year. We've got Fremantle up against St Kilda in Perth. They win that one well. Bulldogs up against North Melbourne, yeah, the Dogs. Collingwood up against Carlton, traditional rivals. These are always close games. I'll pick the Pies by a couple of points. I don't mind the Eagles in this game, to be honest, but I have to go the Giants here. Essendon v Gold Coast, Docklands Stadium. Gold Coast stole that one last year. They don't like Docklands though. I'll pick more by a couple of points. Oh, that's a big win for the Cats. At the Gabba, that's a big win for Brisbane. Sorry to the Port fans out there. Oh, this is tough. This is really tough. St Kilda, I think, they're going to start to improve as the year goes on. I think they're starting to work themselves out. But Hawthorn, I think they're going to start to improve as well. I'll go Hawthorn. God, the Swans, I don't know. I don't know if they're going to improve towards the end of the year. I just don't really know. I feel like they've got to have a response, but they just haven't had it yet. I just don't know if they're going to. I'll pick the Dockers, Adelaide Oval. They win that one, the Crows. Dockland Stadium, I think, gives Brisbane the win here. Carrara, Gold Coast up against Collingwood. This is going to be a big game. I think this is a Friday night contest as well. So I'll go with Gold Coast. Bulldogs up against the Crows. At Docklands, you win that. Giants up against Geelong. They don't play many times in the Sydney showground, so I'll be interested to see how the Cats perform there. I'll go the Giants in a bit of an upset. MCG, Richmond beating the Essendon. I'll go the Bombers. Perth Stadium, Fremantle up against the Hawks. Ooh, it's going to be a close game. I'll pick the Dockers in a close one. Melbourne at the MCG should win that one. St Kilda up against Sydney. The Pride game, of course. Saints won that one last year. They've had a pretty good record against the Swans in more recent times, so I'll pick the Saints. Adelaide over Portland won that one pretty well. But, of course, we're getting to the end of round 18 now. Let's take a look at the ladder at the moment. So looking at it right now, the Pies are sitting on top spot. 2 games clear, well, 1.5 games clear of the Lions. The Bulldogs have jumped into 3rd spot. Cats are in 4th. Gold Coast have dropped down to 5th. They do have that game in hand against the Bombers later in the year, though. Dockers are in 6th, Crows 7th, and Hawthorn in 8th. So the Crows do drop off a little bit. Now the Giants are in 9th, Essendon are in 10th, teetering around that 8th, that final spot. Port Adelaide, I'll give it a little bit of a jump up, but their percentage is so low, they're going to struggle. Carlton, St Kilda, Melbourne, Sydney, Richmond, North Melbourne, and the Eagles rounding out the ladder at this stage. So I think maybe North Melbourne could be a little bit higher there. I think they can get on a bit of a run. Swans, I've just completely fallen off. I don't actually know if I picked them to win a game in any of those. So I'm a little bit out of Sydney at the moment. I just don't know where they're going to be at the end of the year, but hopefully they can find some sort of improvement anyway. But let's predict the rest of the games. So round of 19, Giants up against Essendon. In Docklands, I'll pick the Giants. Gabba. I don't mind the Bulldogs here, to be honest with you. I'm actually going to pick them in a bit of an upset. Tassie, they win that one comfortably. The Hawks. Sydney up against North Melbourne CG, bro. I'll pick my Swans. I'll pick them, but it's going to be tough. I don't know. I don't know where the Swans are at. I don't know where they'll be at that time of the year. Interesting game, this one. I'll pick... this is going to be tough. Who knows if Melbourne are going to be still scoring well. Yeah, I'm going to pick Melbourne. Perth Stadium... Tigers, who have been, they haven't had a really bad game this year. I'm going to pick the Tigers there. Cats against St Kilda down in Gideon. That one. I know the Saints have done a little bit better down there in more recent times, but I can't see them winning that. Pies win that one well. Adelaide Oval, Crows will win. Hawthorn up against Carlton at the MCG. Yeah, Hawthorn I like there. Dockland Stadium, I'll pick the Dogs. I'm really liking them at the moment. The Giants against the Swans. The Swans have a good record. I'll pick the Swans there. They've had a good record against the Giants in more recent times. Gold Coast up against Brisbane in the Gold Coast. Ooh, this is going to be a really big Q clash. The Giants didn't... The Gold Coast didn't really do well in the last one, so I'm going to pick the Gold Coast here, just. So, Derby, yeah, Freo should win that one. North Melbourne up against Geelong. Yeah, they win that one. The Cats. Showdown. I don't know. This may be Ken Ickley's last game looking at it, so I'm actually going to pick Port Adelaide here. Yeah, kind of win that one pretty well, I would say. Even contest here at Dockland Stadium. I like the Saints at home, though. Bulldogs up against the Giants in Melbourne. Yeah, the Dogs win that. Adelaide Oval. Hawthorn don't have a bad record, really, at the Adelaide Oval, I wouldn't say, but I'll go the Crows. Melbourne, it is in Dockland, so I don't give West Coast a chance, but I think Melbourne win that one okay. Yeah, the Gold Coast win that one pretty well. I think the Tigers will probably tire as the season goes on. Oh, God. I'm going to pick Essendon. I don't know about the Swans against them. I think the Swans only have a select few wins against bottom sides the rest of the year, to be honest with you. Collingwood, yeah, the MCG, they win that one. Dockland Stadium, St Kilda v North Melbourne. I'll give Northern a bit of an upset. I'll give them that. Yeah, Cats will win that one comfortably. The Power will wind their season down at that point. Fremantle at home. Yeah, I like them. I honestly think Hawthorn are going to respond here. The Pies are going to have a bit of a drop-off. I'll pick them in an upset. It'll be close, but I think the Hawks will get a win. Cats up against Essendon at home. Yeah, they win that one. MCG against the Saints. Ooh, I'm going to pick the Tigers. I think they'll have one more win. That's it. Brisbane win that one comfortably against the Swans at Docklands. Oh my God. The Gold Coast hate it. Carlton wouldn't like it that much either. I'll pick the Blues in a bit of an upset there. This will be a pretty good win for the Dockers, I would say, but it is at Adelaide Oval, so they're not the greatest there. Round 22, Giants up against the North. Ooh, yeah, you'd think the Giants win that one pretty comfortably. MCG, I don't even care. I think the Dogs win that one comfortably. And Perth Stadium, that doesn't matter. Crows win this one, but how far can we go here? Let's Still stays on the line. 84 points. I like 84 there for the Adelaide Crows. Essendon up against St Kilda. I like Essendon. Yeah, I'll give it to them. This is an interesting game. I mean, if it's a huge road trip for the Lions, but they don't really have a bad record in Perth, I wouldn't think. So I'll give it to Brisbane. I'll give them a close win there. Up against the Dockers, be a close game. Another expansion cup at home, the Gold Coast win that. Carlton up against Port Adelaide. Oh, geez, Port. This is the Docklands, which gives the Port Adelaide a bit of a chance. I'll still give Carlton the win there though. Hawthorn up against Melbourne. Yeah, Hawthorn. Melbourne did pretty well last time though. I'll give it to Hawthorn. Adelaide up against Collingwood. I mean, I think the Crows have to break their drought against Collingwood. I think they do it in this game. It'll be a close one. Yep, Crows will win. Tasmania for North, they win that. SCG, Swans v Cats. Swans have a good record, but I don't know. I just can't pick them. Bulldogs up against West Coast. A couple of years ago, I know the Dogs got upset against the Eagles over in Docklands, but not this time at all. And then we get to the final round. So let's take a look at the ladder predictor going into one more round of the AFL season. So looking at it, it does seem I have Collingwood dropping off their perch in the final round. The Cats are in top spot. Collingwood are in second. Dogs still hold on to that third spot. The Crows have jumped right up into the top four after a really good response in the last few weeks. Gold Coast are in fifth. Dockers sixth. Brisbane teetering around the 8 mark. Hawthorn are in 8th, and that does see the final 8 all done and dusted. So I've got the Giants 2 games out of the 8. They are in 9th. Essendon are in 10th. Port Adelaide 11th. Carlton 12th. Melbourne 13th. St Kilda 14th. Sydney 15th. Equal with the Tigers in 16th. North Melbourne 17th. And the West Coast Eagles in 18th. Now, of course, the Gold Coast and the Bombers both have 2 games in hand, but nonetheless, that is the ladder at the moment. So predicting the final round, this is the game that, of course, was rescheduled to the end of the year, and the Suns will, of course, win that, I would say. And then we get to the rest of the round of 24. So Giants' first game up against the Saints. Yeah, I'll give the Giants. The Crows will rest players, but they still win. The Dogs up against Fremantle. Oh, I think the Dogs win that. Yeah, in Melbourne. Collingwood win that. They'll just get a little bit of a percentage booster. I wouldn't be surprised if the Tigers put up a bit of a fight here, so I'll give them that. Carlton, this is a dead rubber, basically. Essendon will be coming off. It depends on when that game is scheduled, that last game, but I think Carlton win. At the Gabba, I like Brisbane here. I'll go to the Lions. Adelaide over the Gold Coast. This depends on if Ken Hinkley's in his last game. If he's going all the way to the end of the year, I'm going to give it to Port. So I think the Power will let him run out the whole year. I'll give it to Port Adelaide in the final game. What a dead rubber this is going to be. Oh, jeez. I'll give it to the Swans. I think I don't think the Eagles will play it out. But there we have it, guys. There is the ladder predictor done for the 2025 season. So on percentage, the Cats take top spot in front of the Pies and the Bulldogs. The Crows finish in 4th spot, percentage above the Gold Coast are in 5th. The Lions jump into 6th spot after a final round win. Dockers drop to 7th. Hawthorn are in 8th. And then looking at the final bit, the Swans did jump out of that 15th spot out of the bottom 4, where the Saints will finish on percentage. And then that's pretty much the ladder as it is. So let's get to the finals. We'll predict them as well. Qualifying final between the Cats and the Crows. I'll go with the Cats. I'll be interested to see if this is played at the MCG or not, but I'll go Geelong. Gold Coast up against Hawthorn. This will be the first final for the Gold Coast at home. It's going to be tough. I'll pick the Suns. This is another elimination final. Brisbane up against Fremantle at home. Brisbane will win that. And then the other qualifying final at the MCG, I'll go Collingwood over the Dogs. After that, we have the Crows up against the Gold Coast Suns. I'll go the Crows there. I think they win that one pretty well. This is an interesting game. Brisbane up against the Dogs. This is at home. I kind of leaning towards Brisbane here. I've always liked the Lions this year. I'm going to go the Lions in a bit of an upset. And then we get to the prelim finals. Cats up against Brisbane. Now, of course, the Lions last year were on a bit of their run and they were able to win this game. I don't think they do it, though. And then the Pies up against the Crows. Oh, boy. This is going to be interesting. If this is how it plans out, this will be an interesting game because both teams are really high up, I think. I'm going to go with the Pies. I think they will. I'm sorry. I know it's kind of favourites, but I'm going to go with them. And we get to the grand final, of course. Cats up against Collingwood in the granny. I am going to be picking the 2025 premiers are going to be Geelong. I think Geelong will be the 2025 premiers. We're doing the predictions right now, of course, with 12 rounds to go, or 11 rounds to go, something like that. I'm picking the Cats to go premiers, of course. Make sure to let me know down below how much I am wrong. I love the comments, reading them. So, of course, this is just a little bit of fun predictor. But let me know what you guys are thinking going into the rest of the year. That's pretty much all for me for this video, guys. So make sure to like and subscribe. But for now, catch you all in the next one. G'day guys, welcome back to the channel. Now today's a little bit of a different video. I wanted to actually do the rest of the season predictions because I thought we're getting to about halfway through the season now. And at the start of the season, of course, did a prediction ladder of where I think teams are going to be finishing. So first we're going to look at the prediction that I had at this stage of the season, and then we're going to be comparing that to the regular ladder. Of course, then after that, we're going to be predicting every other game going for the rest of the year, predicting what team's going to be making finals, what team's going to miss out. So if you do enjoy this video, guys, of course, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. But first of all, here is my ladder predictor for the middle of the year from the start of the season. So looking at it right now, there's a little bit of differences. Of course, I had the Swans, Port Adelaide in the top 8. That hasn't worked out at all. The Crows I've had outside of the 8, which hasn't worked very well. West Coast I had at 4 wins. That's not very good at all. And the Tigers with 1 win, they have really outdone themselves so far this season. But I think they've surprised a lot of people. I did have the Lions up the top of the ladder and Collingwood in 5th. So there are a lot of differences. I didn't get it right whatsoever. Maybe some other teams can make a bit of a charge or fall off a little bit more, so my prediction's a little bit more correct. But nonetheless, that's what we have it at the moment. So guys, from round 13 onwards, we will predict the rest of the season. So the first game is, of course, next week's Thursday night contest between the Dogs and the Hawks. Interesting game. Hawthorn not in the greatest of form. The Dogs coming off the bye, which always just gets me a little bit iffy. I'll pick the Dogs in this one. I think they're in better form. The Crows against Brisbane Friday night at the Adelaide Oval. Adelaide Oval, you have to pick the Crows, but big game for both teams. This is going to be an interesting one. Richmond up against the Swans. Honestly, I think the Tigers are in better form. I'm going to pick the Tigers, especially the MCG as well. It'll be close though. I'll give them that. This is a big game too. Geelong up against the Gold Coast down in Geelong. I'll go the Cats because it's a Geelong, but a good game. GWS against Port Adelaide. Giants haven't really been that great lately. Port Adelaide haven't been much better. I'll pick the Giants. North Melbourne up against West Coast. Oh, this is in Perth too. Coming off the bye, West Coast have been better the last few weeks. I'll go the Eagles. I'll pick them in a bit of a surprising one. Carlton up against Essendon. 2 traditional rivals, of course. Essendon, I'm actually going to pick the Bombers. I've liked them the last few weeks. And then Collingwood win this one pretty comfortably. Round 14, Bulldogs up against St Kilda. I'll go the Dogs. This is in Tassie. I like the Hawks in Tassie, even though they're not in the greatest of form. I'll pick them. Gabba, yeah, the Lions win that one. And the MCG, yeah, the Cats are pretty comfortable winners there. Perth, of course, Fremantle and North Melbourne. This is a North Melbourne home game, but I would pick the Dockers. Melbourne versus Port Adelaide Oval. This is such an interesting game. I'm going to pick Port Adelaide because it's Adelaide Oval, but Melbourne, I mean, they've been better than Port the last couple of months. I'll pick Carlton. West Coast never can be able to get the job done against them. Fremantle up against Essendon in Perth. Yeah, Essendon don't play well over there at all. Brisbane have been okay at Kardinia Park in more recent times, but I will pick the Cats. I find it very difficult to pick against them when they're down in their home turf. Blues up against North Melbourne. Yeah, I'll pick the Blues. Adelaide Oval, Sydney v Port Adelaide. We have such a bad record against the Power. I'll pick the Power there. Collingwood. It is in Docklands, so it does give St Kilda a bit more of a chance, but I'll pick the Pies there. Ooh, the Expansion Cup. This is going to be an interesting game. It is in Sydney, but I like the Gold Coast. I'll pick them there. We're still in round 15. Bulldogs win that one.
Alrighty guys, the third quarter is about to get underway. Both teams are moving into their positions now. So good news there for Sam De Koning. It does seem it was a shoulder injury that was keeping him out of that second term. Good signs is that he's back on the ground. So the third quarter about to get underway. Essendon now by 35 points. They did well to stem the bleeding throughout that second term, but now we get back for the second half. Bailey Smith, trademark stuff from him, gets the opening clearance. Bouncing towards Angus Clark, was able to smother the bounce. Dersma, back to Clark, did okay, then tackled by Manor. Did well and ball up. So, forward side here for the Cats. Taps it down with Stanley. Caldwell gave it off to Setterfield. It was one of the few shining lights in that opening half. To Merritt. Kako. They do it well here, Essendon. Roberts. Handballed on the outside towards Merritt, who broke the tackle. Chisler inside 50 was nice. And this would be the perfect start for Essendon. Finds it with Peter Wright. You missed that. So, Merritt was pretty well held in that first half. Was able to get 2 touches in that chain. And he needs to lift it to their team as any chance of an upset. Well, he broke away from a tackle of Tom Atkins. That isn't done very often. And Peter Wright. Not much of an angle to speak of. He'll kick from 45. And that's the perfect start for the Dons. So back to 29 points. They were down by 28 against the Blues last week and fought their way back to nearly take that one. 29 points now. Is everything all good?
Yeah.
So bounce down in the middle of the MCG. Bombers with the first goal. From the stoppage, Caldwell trying to get the handball away. Stolen by Holmes. Bouncing ball towards half forward. Stolen by Roberts. Did it well. Off to Merritt. This is his 3rd touch of the quarter already. Working the kick towards the 50. Wasn't a great kick though. O'Connor all over it. Gives it off to Smith. What a brilliant first half he had. A bit of a tumbler towards the forward 50. A bit of a chaos ball. Got past his target. And now Dangerfield inside 50 to Max Holmes.
No one's really picked him up in that whole stoppage of play there, Holmes.
Wasn't a good kick there from Bailey Smith, I'm going to be honest, but it worked out in the end. Got a bad bounce. It was blackest in the opening, the debutant as well. Just got a terrible bounce. So now Max Holmes was brilliant last week in the absence of Bailey Smith. He's already had 18 touches today as well. He comes in now, a kick on 50. The kick looks pretty good. It is just there, I think. It is.
Yeah,
Well, they get the quick response.
He was over there by about by a metre.
Merritt has been really poor with his disposals today. Yeah, I agree. That's why he needs to work. He has always had, he's either really good with his disposals in games or you'd rather have a fucking under 18s player kick the footy because he is either really, really good or really bad. His disposals are always pretty, around that 25 to 30 mark on average, but his disposal can either be really, really good or really bad. Today, it's been really bad. Like that again. That kick had to... I don't know what he was kicking to that kick forward there, but that was terrible. I agree. Chabby Joe. Chabby Joe. So it's back to 35 points that it was at halftime. Back in the middle we go. Goldstein taking it out of the ruck. Handball straight to Bailey Smith. Like he needs help getting disposals. Got the kick forward. Roberts tried to interrupt it. Manor wrapped up by Merritt. And a ball up. I mean, Bailey Smith, I think he's up to 25 now, I would say.
I think, no, it's more than that. It's about 27, 28.
He had 23 or 24 at halftime. So tap down from Goldstein. Merritt was held without it, surely. He'll get the free. Manor wasn't impressed by it, but Merritt pretty happy with a little wry smile. So I think this is his 4th touch already of the quarter, Zach Merritt. Just goes with the lateral ball wide to find Angus Clark.
Beautiful.
And he'll go back, find Roberts. Like the look of this guy. I think he should be leading, or very close to leading the Rising Star. Oh, this is weird. They've worked it okay, but a lot of short kicking to get no
That's
much...
not 50.
Oh, he's getting
Sorry,
given
that's
50.
not 50. That's in the contest. You made him earn it. That's not 50. But...
I think Essendon would love to get the... And they're getting a little bit riled up by it. They thought the Shannon Neal's little effort there wasn't needed. So Xavier Dersmick being taken to about 40 metres out. Dons can hold their own in getting first hands on the ball, but the difference of class between these two sides... Yeah, I agree. You can see the difference. One's 10th spot, one's 4th. So Xavier Dersma, maybe a little bit of luck in that 50-metre penalty, but a chance here to get his team back to 29 points. Kick their second goal in the early stages of the third. Xavier Dersma comes in, the arrow comes out, and it's straight through. Well, sometimes you need a little bit of luck in this game, and Xavier Dersma provides it.
He's in the yeah. I think that Shannon Neal's in the air when he takes him out. Then
I agree.
Yeah.
I think that does show though that they need that's more of an umpire trying to get this goal, trying to keep Essendon in it. I'm being honest. Cats are so good at stripping them of looking dangerous. Yeah, I agree. Cats probably get a little bit of rub of the green a lot more, let's be honest. There's a lot of times that happens. So we're back in the middle. It's back to 29. Can the Dons string a couple together? Goldstein with the tap. Holmes immediately wrapped up by 2 Dons. I've liked Will Setterfield so far. I think he's been their best player.
Yeah.
He probably needs to be a little bit more tighter on the matchup with Bailey Smith, but other than that, he's been pretty good.
I think because he's doing both, like not both jobs, but going to both of them.
Yeah. So Stengel somehow got it out to Holmes. He just sends it forward. A bit of a spiral ball. It goes very, very
they
wide.
Can't give this. Surely they don't give this.
It's hit the boundary line eventually. And ball in.
Yeah.
Definitely a good decision from the umpire. A couple of Essendon fans have been screaming for insufficient, but would have been a very tough call.
He came with the side of his boot. But I guess that doesn't really matter, does it, when it comes to insufficient intent?
A lot of the time, I think it's just last touch. Will Setterfield chase was inspirational. Yeah, it was a very good chase down tackle. So Goldstein taps it down once again. Dersma immediately wrapped up by Dempsey. The 228s and another ball up here. So tap down from Goldstein. Dersma surely taken high.
That one there was free against Shannon Neal against Dersma.
Well, it wasn't a free. It was just a 50. Yeah, I agree with you. So Dersma holds it up at halfback. This was such a problem for the Bombers in the first half. And it's just perfect there to Goldstein. So Goldstein looking corridor. Doesn't really want to go. So just a little stabbing kick over the top to find Setterfield. Well, Setterfield got a black eye underneath that left eye, I think. So they're going to go back and try to go with the switch. This has been their problem all game. Prior on the last line. Yeah, Goldstein's been pretty good today. Laverde. And Laverde's kick, a bit of a lazy one. Setterfield trying to break away, got the kick away just in time. I think he was out of bounds. The umpire says play on. Parrish gives it off to Goldstein. Grabbed it in the one glove, worked it back on the inside. Caddy had to hold up. Guthrie held him up only momentarily. Gresham, Dersma, on to Parrish. Now they can go. Zach Johnson, where's his option? He goes for right. Should get the free. Maybe not. Play on. Right. Tapped it on the inside. May on the up. Caddy, the duck step. Handballed back to May. He's had a few opportunities and now he missed again.
Mark on the line.
So Jack Martin on the last line. Nonchalant mark.
No,
gives it over to Henry, who goes towards the wing. Clark, good grab.
Why would he have gone there on Brad Close? Seriously.
We had to put it out the back. I didn't put enough on it, but Clark was a strong mark. He can wheel around on the right and send it to the top of the goal square. Caddy's there, so is right. Brought to the ground. Holmes, and now they can stream off halfback once again. Wasn't a great handball. Got it to Myers. Kick over the top. Miss Cameron. Good work from Laverde. Took the footy. Now he's got to break away. Got a kick just in time. Myers. Now off to Holmes. And little check side kick. Finds Cameron. They're out. Here go the Cats. What's Cameron got? He's got a couple of options. Nearly short. He now kicks it to him. Did well. Smith on his right. Works it back instead to Myers. And Myers, short kick, wasn't the greatest. Probably his worst kick of his career. Stengel to Smith. The basketball bounce towards the top of the goal square again wasn't great. Guelphy did okay.
Part of me thinks he's gone for the shot.
Oh, weird handball from the debutant. And now to goal.
There's 4.
Like he needs help, Jezza Cameron. He's got 5 now.
Oh, is he? Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, that's really bad.
I have to look to see who did that. I think it was either Johnson or Blackiston. Debutant. It's Archer Day Wick, so it's a couple of games, but weird handball.
What is he? Yeah, he takes the handball and he goes.
Oh.
Why would he do? I don't know where he's trying to do there.
Not much Brad Scott can do about that. Young player he wasted his opportunity to get rid of it. Probably best to just put it on the boot out of danger, being honest. Yeah, Wright did struggle to get a free kick. I don't know if that was 100% there, but he's had a couple not go his way today. So Jeremy Cameron's got 5 goals and there's so much time left. How you doing, Sarah? Very good start from the Cats. 35 points once again. So Wright in the ruck against Stanley. Wright wins the tap. Only as far as Atkins to Holmes. He's starting to break off the chain. Kicking wide. Good option in the end. He hits up Jack Martin. And he'll blast it long. Where's Jeremy Cameron? There's Dangerfield. Couldn't mark. Roved it brilliantly, Stengel. Back to Paddy Dangerfield. You know where this is ending up. Straight through the middle.
Only one who hasn't got to the scoreboard to this point, until that point.
Well, that's it. Dangerfield is one that hasn't really joined the party just yet, but maybe that will spark him.
Yeah, this is not looking good. It's 12-6.
Yeah. Oh, I updated the goals, but not the score. That's what it was. Every time it goes forward for Geelong, it just looks like a goal.
I think the inexperience of their defense is really showing. It's really glowing at the moment.
So it's 41 points. It's tapped down from Stanley. Parrish held up immediately, threw that out. Play on. Caldwell trying to get rid of it. Atkins worried up. Goldwell got rid of it. Straight to right. Tapped it out. Day Wicks further on did it well. And now Setterfield out wide. Hits his target. Martin.
I think Martin needs to get in the midfield here right now.
Martin inside the forward 50. Checked his kick for Kako. Stolen by Guthrie. And now the Cats can repel once again. Manor blasts the kick out wide to the leading lane of Dangerfield. Gets past him. Handball from Johnson. Pryor under all sorts of pressure. He's given away the free, Dangerfield. Well, Pryor, despite every issue that they've had down back, he's done okay against Dangerfield. He's only conceded the one goal, which was a few moments ago. Oh, as I say that, he's got his ball smothered. He's calling for someone to lead up at him. No one did. Now he's giving away the free, taking the advantage. Myers got his handball too hot for close. Parrish under all sorts of pressure. The Cats can raffle this one. Manor had Dangerfield and burned him.
They could have
ran that into the goal line.
Yeah, the amount of actual points that they've got tonight so far is only 7, but there's a lot of ones that they should have got.
So I think maybe Sam De Koning is going to be subbed out here. He did come back onto the ground with that shoulder injury, but I think now with the game almost out of reach, they've pulled the pin. They're going to bring Mitch Duncan onto the ground. So a long kick towards Neil, couldn't take the mark. Caldwell towards the wing, but too wide, and Guthrie will get the free kick.
I think that's the smartest move that Geelong can do. Just get rid of... Just
put him on ice.
Put him on ice. They've got the bye in 2 weeks anyway. Was it? No, yeah, it's 2 weeks, isn't it?
Yeah, they got Brisbane next week.
Yeah. And they will need him for next week as well.
So now Stewart just goes to the wide ball for Blitzars. Good kick. He was up against a lot of pressure, but Lau just a little bit too short.
Just shows the complete size difference in that contest.
He blasted towards the top of the goal square. Up goes Neil. He spoils it away from his teammate.
Stanley had it all day.
Yeah, he had hands on that, Stanley, and Neil just stopped that chance.
Has he got...
He does have strapping, but there's no ice or anything on the shoulder. I think he's been I think he's pretty well just been like, just sit down and relax.
Yeah.
So who's going to get on the run here at this stoppage for Geelong? Try to get a little tap out the back there, Stanley. Parrish gathered it. Dangerfield always in and under. Manor got boot to ball somehow. Kick forward. Stanley can get there. It gets past him. Ball out the back. Johnson off to Martin. Hardly seen it since the opening term. Takes a bounce. Set a terrible handball. Puts his team under all sorts of pressure. Worked it out okay in the end. Clark over the top to Dersma. They can get a bit of run going here. He has absolutely nothing forward, so he has to hold up. Martin, Setterfield, Dersma, they're back where they started. Still working back. He's backtracking. Dersma has no idea what to do with it. Gives it off to Setterfield, making his problem, and he just blasts it up the wing in hope more than anything. But Tom Stewart.
That's just the worst option. That's just the worst
I think that's what they were
option.
trying to avoid, but eventually they just had to do it. So now the Cats can go. Working away with ease. Now Manor. Low darting ball inside 50 for Dangerfield. Ridwell Laverde took the front spot. Roberts was held momentarily. Slapped it out with Neil. Getting away is Jeremy Cameron. He'll run in. Trying to get back on that left boot. And he's missed.
He was trying to get around. You could see he was trying to get whack onto his left foot and go around the body. But with the pressure of Essendon, he just couldn't do it.
He still straightened up, but he still missed it. He wanted, like you said, he wanted to go all the way around and just curl it in.
Yeah.
So they get it out to around the wing area there. Essendon on the members' side, but eventually knocked out by Blitzars. Yeah, he knows he should have kicked that. Oh, Blitzars has got the free kick somehow here. So we're about to tick under 10 minutes in this third quarter. Essendon have made a few charges at them, but pretty much been all Geelong. This is the time where Tom Stewart likes to rack up a couple of marking kicks here. So he goes with another switch kick wide to Duncan to get his first touch.
They've done it well today, Geelong, with this sort of play. The fact is that there's been no pressure around for them to just roll inside 50.
So now Lawson Humphreys has all the time in the world to blast from 50. Oh, how good is that?
Wow.
Well, like you said, they've been able to do that all day. Just stream it off of the back 50 line and just ease it inside towards the forward area. And then Lawson Humphreys, of all people, gets on the scoreboard.
That was just... I think that's about the fourth time today they've been able to just take uncontested marks around the defensive 50 and move it gradually up forward, go around from wing to wing.
Yeah, Setterfield overcommitted. He needed to stay back, but, I mean, he's trying to put on pressure.
He's the only one who's done anything, though, today, Setterfield, so you can't really blame him.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not blaming him.
Oh, interesting celebration. A little bit of the, I don't know, the shave of the arms, I would say. I don't know what that was, but anyway. Cats fans love it. 49 points, game high. Well, the Bombers are going to have to find something here. This game's got the hallmarks of an 80-point loss, really.
The thing is that, to me, it could be 100. With 10 minutes, 9.5 minutes left in this quarter, it could still be 100-point thumping.
Yeah, Essendon don't look like scoring. Great bounce from the umpire. Oh, Goldstein's giving a little bit to the umpire. Don't know about that there, Goldie. He's been okay. Stanley with the tap. Smith tried to tap it to his own advantage. Stanley gives it back out towards Bailey Smith. Wrapped up well by Merritt. Got it out somehow. Worked it to close. Tackled okay. Working it back. Miss Humphreys. Guelphy tried to break a tackle. Interesting how the umpire sees it. Ball up.
I think it just shows how much inexperienced there is in the Essendon team at the moment.
Lau trolled up his opponent for the moment. Atkins now looking backwards to Stanley. Just jammed it on the boot in hope. Long ball towards Stengel and Laverde. Laverde got the spoil. Neil couldn't gather it. Runs past a couple of players. Smith up against Caldwell. Caldwell wanted it more. Blackiston did a little tap through the legs there, Neil, and then the soccer. Only as far as Roberts. Laverde. Now the Bombers can go. Johnson takes a bounce. Myers tracking him. Parrish over the top. Day Wicks. Oh, he's under pressure again. Myers got the kick away, but is interrupted by McGrath. On the up to Parrish. Didn't even look. Just jammed it forward. Chance here. Guelphy gets at the back of him. Right. Hamble on the inside. Kako up against Stewart. Should be gone. Play on. Guelphy through that. Play on, said the umpire again. Hamble on the outside. Caddy gives it off to Goldstein. Now to Lau on the left boot. Inside. Not a great kick. Henry was there. Blitzars. Smith. Oh, they're just too good, aren't they? O'Sullivan. Back to Bailey Smith. And then the kick short to Brad's close. Well, what do you say? They're just too good, aren't they? Works the kick forward. Now Mullen went to play on. Realised he had to get back onto his mark. He had a chance there in Stengel. He didn't get enough space in time. So now Brad Close gets the footy. Drives it long. And Shannon Neal, unfortunately there for the debutant in Blackiston, just got a little bit misfooted. And easy as you like uncontested mark there for the big Shannon Neal. Well, they did it again, didn't they? Off the half-back line. Pretty easy to get all the way forward. And then Shannon Neal... I mean, it was unlucky. Blackiston lost his footing.
Yeah.
They've been unpressured from D50 to forward 50 a lot today.
Yeah. I reckon you can call it counter about nearly 10 times.
So now Shannon Neal come here to make it really hurt. He does. And they spread the lead out to 55 points. And this game has the hallmarks of a flogging. He's got 4 goals now. Is it 4 goals now for Shannon Neal? I think it is.
Third.
He's got 3. Yeah, they're just under all sorts of pressure there, Essendon, and immediately on the turnover, they're just easy.
But look at that. They're just all flat-footed. They're not... there's just nothing there. Defensive attributes there from Essendon. They just let Brad Close run from defensive 50 all the way into
That's Zach Merritt
half
there
forward
too.
as well.
He's got to be doing better than that. Zach Merritt's the one who was tracking behind Brad Close, who just wanted to run more. I mean, I get Lau, like he may be a bit tired, the kid, but Zach Merritt's got to be chasing hard there. So Goldstein with the tap again, held up was Archer Day-Wicks, and then a ball up. Bailey Smith having 31 touches already in this game. Goldstein gets the free.
Yeah.
Couple of Bronx cheers around the ground, thinking they've been a bit hard done by today, Essendon. Goldstein's kick forward was touched. Couldn't take the footy there, the Cats player. Gresham on the up. Parrish parted the sea, snapped on goal, bit of a tumbler, and then Tom Stewart again.
Yes.
Well, I mean, he's been doing it all day.
The record we've been saying is that
Long kick turnover. So now O'Connor finds Myers. Well, the Cats are playing with them at the moment. Put a little bit more scoreboard pressure on them in the third term, but this game's felt like a 55-point game for pretty much since the opening, pretty much the first 10 minutes of the game. So now Gresham gives it off to Lau. A chance here for Essendon to get a turnover goal. Archer Day-Wicks, handball on the inside to Roberts. Went to go kick, realised the handball option was better. Again, they're wasting it a little. Now Caldwell, chance to break away from space. And again, another turnover. And now it's Blitzars who joins in with an intercept mark. Goes with a wide ball towards Martin. Couldn't take the mark in the air. Was on the ground quickly though. Back to Myers, looking for an option. Eventually, found Bailey Smith.
yes, that was about...
Is that a 7-metre kick?
9 metres?
Well, he's had 31 touches. Make it 32 now. Goes across the 50. Great kick to O'Sullivan.
Would you maybe move Caddy up the field a bit just to give him something?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind it. Blitzars. Bailey Smith again. That's 33 if you don't mind. Short ball to Matty. He'll get it here again. No, he won't.
No, he'll wait.
And now Neal. And then Neal works it in short. And Cameron should have marked that.
I think he was waiting on contact.
So Parrish, Johnson, and Lau.
That's 50.
That could be 50. No.
Ooh.
They're just under all sorts of pressure, this young defence of the Dons. Pryor now to Laverde. So now short kick to the lead up now.
You can see how much bloody zone defence that this Geelong side's got.
So now long kick. Good mark. Well done there from Archer May to find Wright. And now Wright can wheel and go. Sends it towards the one-on-one. Roberts! Well, good body work there from the kid. Did it well against an experienced Grind Myers. I mean, yes, he's a forward. Probably wouldn't be in too many one-on-ones in the defensive 50 there, Grind Myers, in his career. But did it well.
The fact is that the rule is that you can't literally push them. You can have the hands in the back.
I like to look at it again.
Give away the free. That's why he didn't give away the free, because he had his hands in the back, but he didn't use the pushing motion.
So Archie Roberts. It's been really, really good so far this year. Played a few games last season, and now he's almost the leader down in the back 50. Good finish. He's got their 6th goal. Well, I mean, that's as easy as you like, really.
Yes.
33 touches from Bailey Smith right now. I don't think he's had a 40 disposal game in his career, but he's on his way.
He's on track for 50.
Yeah, at the moment. And I mean, he very well could get it. So it's back to 51 points. So back in the middle we go. Goldstein with the tap down to Setterfield, being one of the few shining lights. Sends it inside the forward 50. Good-looking kick. Stewart put a lot of pressure under the debutant. Wright couldn't gather it. Blitzers. And again, they're just going to repel with ease. Stewart finds Humphreys. Short little dabbing kick. Missed Myers. Up against Roberts. Roberts did it pretty well. Myers fights back. Dribbling ball inside, but the ball went out.
That was not out. I could tell by that.
I mean, the umpire's in the perfect spot. You're sitting in the lounge room, but you've got the good angle. we'll give you the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
Terrible decision from the umpire. So the brothers up against each other in the coach's box, and looks like Chris has got the job over Brad today. Goldstein with the tap. Held up Stanley for a moment. Perkins is onto the ground. Couldn't get there. Lau runs after Atkins and takes him over, and it's okay.
Who was it, sub?
So it looks like they finally made the sub. We'll have to see. It is Archer May, or is that Day Wicks? I think that's Day Wicks. Yeah, Day Wicks has been subbed out. Well, it's pretty hard to say who could have gone out, really. I mean, there's been a lot of players who haven't done a lot today. Stanley with the tap straight down to Merritt. Kicking forward. Bit of a bouncing ball towards the one of May against De Koning. Blitzers, in fact. He got the kick forward. It worked out a bit lucky. And now Martin can play on. Drive it long towards the one-on-one in Dangerfield and Pryor. Dangerfield did well at the back. Fought back onto it. Snapping ball towards goal. Dempsey will leave it. And Paddy Dangerfield hasn't had a big day, but he has a couple of big moments.
Yeah, this is ugly. This is ugly. But the thing is, like you've said a fair amount today, is that it feels like it's a lot bigger than what it really is in 55 points.
Yeah, was it 55? It feels like a lot more. But again, Zach Merritt's kick, it's not... I mean, I know there's a lot of pressure on him, but his disposal wasn't great. And this, again, like... I think it's probably Lowry's opponent. You kind of give him a little bit of a reprieve because he's a young kid, but you can't let your player out the back that easily. And then Pryor couldn't do much more than what he did there. Dangerfield's just too big, too strong. He kept his feet, didn't he?
Yeah. That's all you got to do.
He's always threatened to be that midfield forward throughout his career, but he's just been too good of a midfielder, Paddy Dangerfield. But now, been pushed out of that midfield core of Geelong, and, well, he's just going to continue his career as a forward. What a luxury for the Cats. They lead by 55 with just under 3.5 minutes left in this third term. Goldstein with the tap. Smith just soccer it off the ground. Trundling towards the half-forward line as Matt, what's his name? Matt Hill would say. Setterfield, Merritt, Johnson, Roberts, McGrath, and then puts himself under all sorts of pressure, so goes back the other way to Merritt. All on his own in the centre square. Has to pick a right option, so goes with the lateral ball wide and finds Nick Martin. Well, after a very good start from Nick Martin, he hasn't done a lot since. Goes towards the middle of the ground. That's a better looking kick. He hits up Merritt. He wants to play on. Low ball inside 50. That is better. So Isaac Kako, barely seen it today.
He saw it a bit in the second quarter, but it was just the fact is that aside from that, he hasn't seen it, as you said.
We talked about it in our podcast a few weeks ago. Does he need some time in the VFL just to learn his craft a bit more? But it just seems like there's a lot of responsibility on the guy that's played less than 20 games.
Yeah.
So Isaac Kako, the future of the forward line, seems like this kid and Nate Caddy. Can Isaac Kako trouble the scorers here? Hasn't seen a lot of it today. He's holding that goal post, but he sneaks it in. Good job. Well, Zach Merritt, he's hardly kicked it well today, but that was a couple of good little options there. He's moved up to 22 touches now.
Oh yeah, nice. He doubled his score of Ryan Myers in this third quarter.
We love to see it. I've got him.
Yep. And I've got
him. I think I've got anyone else.
Angus Clark, 34 there.
Oh, yeah, I think I got him in the team because I had to put him in this week, but yeah. So we're back in the middle. It's under 50 points once again. I've said it a few times. You said it before. Feels like a lot more than 49 points, but Essendon fighting the fight at the moment. Parrish off the Merritt. He started to work his way into it. Inside the forward 50 off the right boot. Henry had a fist onto it. Free kick called. And it's going to go to Peter Wright. Well, Zach Merritt started to work his way into it. Don't give it away, centre field.
Yeah, it was off the boot, yeah.
Oh, was it a free kick downfield? It was.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
So Merritt had the matchup against Mullen. Mullen's been in and around him for a lot of the game. Hasn't been with him, I think, around the ground, but just at stoppage. But I think Merritt's probably worked his way into the game. It's just his disposal's been off. So Peter Wright has kicked the goal so far in this quarter. This should bring it back to 43. So Peter Wright comes in, 45-degree angle, kick from just inside the forward 50. He's always been good of his craft. Good finish there from Peter Wright. He's got 2 in the quarter. Well, at least they're fighting the good fight.
Yeah, the hallmarks of them just taking it, really.
Yeah.
But as we've been saying, the last 2 quarters for Nick Martin, he had 10. No, sorry, I think he had 12 in the first half. In the first quarter, he's had 7 since.
Yeah.
Someone like that need that good disposal.
Yeah, well, he's had a few disposals as well today that have been terrible off the boot. He conceded them what was it? I think it's in the second term when he had that kick inside the D50 and turned it over and put his team under all sorts of pressure. There was a kick early in the game that he was inside the back pocket and he went short, wasn't 15. So
Yeah.
hasn't been his best game, Nick Martin. So we go back in the middle once again. 43 points with a minute and a half in this third. What can they do, Essendon, to fight the good fight? Goldstein with the tap.
Oh.
Merritt knocked over his own teammates. And now Smith clearance once again. Goes very, very wide. McGrath should be able to track it down first. He does. That's deliberate. Yeah. Obviously, he was going to get pinged. Andrew McGrath just stepped over the boundary line like it was a try in rugby. And now Dangerfield in short and finds Stengel. Well, hasn't had a big day, Tyson Stengel. Seemed like it'd be his kind of game, but hasn't done a lot.
Well, when you've got Shannon Neal,
Jeremy Cameron doing
Cameron.
everything.
pretty much everything, Danesfield's got it in the second half.
Yeah, Stengel's had a bit of a day off.
Yeah.
That's all right. He can have a bit of a day off every now and then. Sometimes you just spend a little bit more time in the toilet at work, and I think that's what he's done today, Stengel. But when they needed him, he shows up.
Beautiful.
Interesting story, Tyson Stengel. Was a rookie pickup at the Tigers. Didn't really get much of a chance. Came home to South Australia to play for the Crows. That never really worked out. So eventually, after a year in the Sandful, went to the Cats. And what a story and what a great player he's been since he's gone down to the Cattery. And that's a bit of bread and butter stuff from Tyson Stengel. You kind of thought he would nail that. Not as big a celebration as last week in the pouring rain, but that was still a good finish. Back to 49. 39 seconds left. So 7 goals to the Cats in this third term. The Bombers have got 5 of their own, but just keeps on breaking away once again. And from the stoppage, away breaks Max Holmes. Kicking forward to the lead up of danger. Got it? No, he dropped it. Pryor went to ground. Stengel chases along with Clark. Ball up. Had 3 grabs of that, Paddy Dangerfield. Just couldn't bring it in.
He was going full ball.
He went
wide into
1, 2, 3, and then Laverde lands on top of him. Goldstein, a little parry almost to himself. Kicking it forward, only far, just out of the danger area for the moment. Guthrie tracking it down, got the handball on the up. Blitzars forward now to Stanley, up to his toes. Good tackle from Guelphy.
Probably
Ball
not
up.
the person you want to handball it to.
Yeah, especially to his toes. Stanley pretty athletic for a ruckman, but still is a ruckman at the end of the day. So in the shadows of 3/4 time, centre wing out of sight at the MCG. Pretty big crowd. They're seeing an absolute demolition job from the Cats. Neither ruckman get there. Umpire says just play on. Roberts just smacking it forward only as far as Guthrie. Jams it onto the boot. Manor, good spoil to the ground. Merritt with the gather as the siren sounds for the 3/4 time. The Bombers, young side, they've been taught a lesson today by the veteran Cats, leading by 49 points as they head for the final break. 16-8, 104 Geelong to the Bombers, 8-7, 55. Alrighty. All right, let's have a look at the statistics of before we head into the final term. Will Setterfield's the only shining light, I think, for the Bombers. He's been so good, 26 touches. Was up against Bailey Smith at stoppage, who's probably second best on the ground behind Jeremy Cameron. He's on 108 fantasy points with the 35 disposals. Max Holmes been very good as well with the 24 touches and a goal. Tom Stewart being very serviceable in the back, 50, 90 fantasy points. Caldwell had his moments with 87. Mark O'Connor hasn't done a lot since the halftime break with 82. Nick Martin is there as well with 82. Jeremy Cameron with the 77. Can anyone see maybe the Bombers can keep this under 50 points? I have zero hope, really. I think this is going to be an absolute flogging in the final term. I think the Cats are going to cash in. Yeah, I think this is going to be a bit of an arse handing to the Bombers in this final term. But look at the live ladder, actually. So let's have a look at the live ladder quickly, because the Cats' percentage has gone up by 3% with the lead at the moment. They're into second spot as they go on to win this game. The Lions obviously lost against the Giants this afternoon. So the Bombers here they're in 10th spot still, but their percentage has dropped by nearly 3 as well, which is going to be tough. I don't really think they were going to ever make finals anyway, but tough position for them to be in right now. Carlton aren't sitting in a bad spot. They got West Coast this week to increase their percentage if they can win it, but they obviously had Sam Walsh come out in the last few weeks, so it's going to be tough for them to make finals because they've got a couple of pretty hard games coming up as well. Swans, maybe they can get on a run, but their percentage isn't really good enough. Everyone inside the top 8 has got a percentage over 100. And maybe the team that I felt like maybe would be falling out was the Giants, but they keep on finding wins when they need it. Hawthorn continue to win games when they need to as well. So it's going to be tough to break into that top 8. I mean, Fremantle have been seen to be a team that's going to break in there, but they're a win outside the 8 at the moment, and on percentage is going to be tough. And the Dogs, 2 wins from their past 5 games. Maybe their form isn't as good as what we once thought. And North Melbourne play tonight against Fremantle as well in their second of their WA home games. So 49 points at 3/4 time. If you're given the votes right now, I'm thinking you probably go Jeremy Cameron with the 3. 2, so probably Bailey Smith, I would say. And then 1, you could raffle it between 10 Cats. You got Holmes, Stewart, Neil, who's had a very good performance. Brian Myers has been very good. Yeah. Only Bomber I would even consider, which, 49 points down, I I couldn't even fathom it, but Will Setterfield probably the only one.
I think Max Holmes is probably at 1 at the moment.
Yeah, he's been very good. Yeah, I think Max Holmes, you're right, probably gets the 1 vote. So, last quarter about to get underway. Of course, the next game, for people wondering, is the North Melbourne Fremantle game. That is a North Melbourne home game as well in Perth. I don't know why. I don't really know why they do that, but I mean they have a good record in Perth in more recent times. They haven't.
What? Because they won last week.
No, they beat Fremantle last year over there, and they beat West Coast last year over there too. So if anything, that's their home away from home.
Yeah. Who cares about Tassie anymore?
Yeah, fuck it. So last term about to get underway. Players moving into positions now.
So he's on 5 at the moment, Jeremy Cameron. Does he finish with...
They only kicked 1 in that third term.
I reckon he finishes with 8. I think it's 3 in the quarter.
So final term underway now with a 49-point lead, the Cats. Can they continue to put it on the scoreboard? From the tap down, Smith tried to get hands on it. Atkins on the up. Stanley to Humphreys coming off that half-back line. Works the kick out wide. Dempsey. Who does he want? He's looking for Dangerfield, but did well there prior. Took the front spot.
Yeah, Danger was looking for contact and he didn't get it. Obviously.
Pryor just ran straight past him.
Yeah, went straight past him for the ball.
So Pryor works it wide to Clark. Clark went to play on, realised that wasn't the option, so now did well with a little step. I think it was on Stengel. And now goes towards Goldstein in the one-on-one. Oh, too tall. Great work. Been one of the premier ruckmen of so many years. Wants to go long. Inside the forward 50 for Wright. Ooh. Hit the face of Blitzars. Runs back. O'Sullivan pushed over by Caddy. And ball in.
Ooh.
Thought I was probably in the back, but
yeah,
anyway.
I think that was actually a clear push in the back, but...
It's been a tough day for Nate Caddy, of course. He's the future of this forward line. It's right in the scon there to Blitzars. Had no idea where the footy was.
It was right in his head.
So now inside their forward 50. Goldstein, tap down, Caldwell, quick boot to ball. Top of the goal square. Well done there to bring it to the ground. I think it was right. Now Dersma snaps. Couldn't get a bend on it. Almost hit the belly of the ball and just threw for a minor score. So Stewart goes short, finds Bailey Smith, who just continues to rack them up.
Should have known to get out of the square.
Yeah, I know, that was crap. So now the Cats can work it on the wing here. Humphreys to Dempsey, and he's out of bounds.
Should have known the role. He's an old boy. I guess why that's why.
Yeah.
He doesn't get the point of it.
So Angus Clark been playing a little bit off halfback today. Has moved up to the wing, up onto Dempsey. So back in the ruck we go. Stanley, tap that straight to the boundary line. They won't call that. They never do.
Well, earlier in the game, he was Angus Clark was on Jeremy Cameron. I thought that, like you said, I think that was a bit unfair.
A bit unfair. Don't put him on Jeremy Cameron. That's a bit tough. So 18 and a half left. Goldstein was held, surely. Play on. Atkins couldn't gather it. Setterfield. Out wide. Oh, Merritt. Back to Setterfield. Made it his problem. So now he drives it towards half forward for Wright. Had hands on it. Did well. Kako breaking through. Handball was interrupted. Henry. Duncan. Further on. Mullen. Has a lot of space to work into. Goes to the wide kick. Good kick in the end of Neal. So just on the defensive side of the wing. He had close as a handball option. Played on. Almost to his detriment. Eventually finds his kick. Finds Cameron. Probably go down as an all-time great forward of the modern age. Jeremy Cameron. Probably hasn't been talked about enough just yet. Probably when he gets towards the end of his career, whenever that will be, he just continues to keep on keeping on. The kick inside, nice option. Humphreys kick one from just this distance earlier in the game. The kick wasn't great, but Merritt should have marked. Spills at the back. Martin to Perkins. Short little kick into the middle of the ground.
That was a great kick to the opposition team.
Do you think Jack Henry was wearing an Essendon jump for the way he kicked that ball? Doing it straight over. So now Henry pumps it back inside the forward 50 and then coming back with ease is Shannon Neal.
I'd like to actually know who was actually on him then, because McGrath, Pryor, and Clark were there. Like, who was actually... If it was one of them three, why would they be on him?
Well, Clark was just standing there looking around like, where is my help? Where is my help? Yeah,
it
it's
was
just
the
no
fact
one's
that
there on him.
No one's on him. Like that was a 4 and 3. He was loose.
So Shannon Neely's kick 3 today. A chance here for his 4th. It's going to be a bit of a tough kick. Tougher than a 45-degree angle, and he never left that right goalpost. So now Martin outside the D50. Goes long with the kick and sport out of bounds. They just lock it in once again. So it's 49 points still. Darcy Parish getting some work on his calves. Interesting where he ends up at the end of the year. Maybe time to move him on to a different club. Maybe bring something in. Just feel like they've got a lot of those Darcy Parishes of the team. Free kick inside the ruck. It's going to go to Goldstein. Goldstein looking around, trying to find something to go to. Eventually just goes back. Oh, put Laverde under all sorts of pressure. Just took the mark though. Laverde just didn't want to go with that kick there. He had an option at centre-half back in Roberts. Decides to go very wide. Merritt did well to gather the bouncing ball. Caldwell trying to duck and weave and gone. You're not getting past the tackling machine in Atkins. Trying to make something work there, Caldwell, but just couldn't get to work. So now Atkins. He's got Bailey Smith at half forward. Decides to drive it longer than that. Looking for a flyer. Cameron couldn't get there. At the back is Dempsey. On to Brad Close. Well done, Merritt. Great tackle. And
It was paid.
it was paid holding the footy. Well, that's better from Zach Merritt. He's done a lot better in this second half, I think. So a good tackle there from Merritt to get holding the footy. Goes with a very, very wide ball. It's a good kick to Martin. Goes over the top. So now they've got a bit of overlap here, the Bombers. Laverde, little short kick over the top. Went to play on. Realised the man on the mark didn't realise. Oh, what a weird kick. Oh, Nick Martin lazed up on that mark. Dropped it. Had time to get back onto it. Pryor. Short kick over the top. Now Perkins. Inside kick. I don't think he meant that. Mullen did okay. Shrugged the tackle. They work now through hands. O'Sullivan tries to get into his work. Got boots the ball. A long high ball. Looking for Dempsey or Stengel, but McGrath did well. Trying to get a bit of run into the game now. There was Roberts. Still bounce with the one hand like Jared Brennan. Gets the ball back with the handball. Inside kick wasn't great. And turned it back over to O'Sullivan. They're trying to get something to go in this last quarter. Trying to get something going, but Roberts just probably had to do a bit better there. And now they've left a free man inside the middle of the ground. Off to Holmes. They don't need him to get some easy touches. He blasts long for Cameron. Couldn't win it in the air. On the ground though. Tap down Stengel. Trying to get into a move. Merritt did well. McGrath.
He had to go left foot.
Setterfield and now Merritt. Short kick. Caldwell. Ugh. Wide kick. Why are these 15-metre kicks? Why are they going for him? Jesus Christ. I mean, Dersman marks that footy, but it's so dangerous. It's not much not much gain. And as I say that, they turn it over again. Dangerfield on the inside. Holmes. The Bailey Smith hasn't troubled the scorers so far, but sets it up. And now Tyson Stengel. Why would they go for that kick? That 15-metre kick that's just so much danger involved in it for not much gain at all. Oh, fucking frustrating.
The skill level isn't there for the Bombers. They can't, with the pressure of Geelong being there all day, it's
just butchered it. And now Tyson Stengel didn't do a lot in that first half, did kick a goal in the third. A chance here for his second goal. 45-degree angle, about 40 metres out. Tyson Stengel comes in, and he's hooked it a little bit to the left.
Another turnover at half forward.
Another turnover. Holmes kicks it long. Dangerfield went to the ground for a moment. Laverde with a spoil straight up and down. McGrath handled back. Oh, Pryor shut down from the blind side. Tyson Stengel, they take the advantage. Dangerfield to Myers. And isn't that just modern Geelong?
Pryor was just set up so poorly then. Just came from behind and just be like, you're gone.
Another turnover. Another turnover. Oh.
13 goals from turnover.
He just turned straight into Tyson Stengel.
And you think like sometimes like Dansfield would have been like, oh no, we're just going to stop, let Sting will take it. They're at that point now. They're like, we're going to go for the throat. Just keep advantage, payload, a goal.
Yeah, cut the jugular right now. They're going to go for broke here, Geelong. They're going to try and put a massive score on the young Dons.
Yeah. What is it now? 50.
There's the scores from turnover. 3 behinds for Essendon today. Geelong, 59. That's where your game has been won. So Smith holds up Parrish for the moment. Got the kick away, but cut off by Guthrie. Handball on the outside to Holmes. Short little kick on the up. Missed his target, but Myers was good to trap it. Handball over the top, turned it over. Parrish to Martin. Try to get a handball away, he did. Goldstein, Perkins, back to McGrath. Oh, they're under all sorts of pressure still. And now Pryor, back to Johnson. So now he can run off the half-back line now, Johnson. Kicks it long towards Lau, turned it over. Oh my God. You would think they were wearing Essendon jumpers, these Cats players. They have kicked it to them so many times today. Inside ball to Bailey Smith. So they go across the centre of the ground. O'Sullivan. Got a handball option in Holmes. He decides to go himself. Breaks past Merritt. Almost ran himself into a bit of danger. He ran too far. The only way that was going to stop him with Chris Scott even having a wry smile in the coach's box. So a long kick towards Caddy. There's his first mark of the day. That was a good grab. He's been well shut down from one of the best defences in the comp. Well, he'd probably want to be on the end of this kick, Caddy. He goes high, goes long. Jack Henry, name written all over it.
Ugh, again.
Oh.
Another intercept mark.
So he goes with a wide kick to Myers.
Perfect.
They're just racking them up the disposals here, the Cats. A little bit of stat padding here. Sure they won't mind. Back to O'Sullivan. Switches it across the defensive 50 to Humphreys. Well, they're open on the members' side. Handball over the top. So now Mitch Duncan hasn't seen a lot of it since coming on. Hasn't really needed him so far. Over the top to Jack Martin, centre wing.
He's actually played alright. It's weird. A different role, obviously, but he's done okay.
So back to Duncan here. Gives it off to the handball. And now Humphreys streaming. Gives it off to Bailey Smith. He runs back on the inside looking for an option. Look at the kick. His disposal's been questioned today, Bailey Smith, but that was perfect. And Shannon Neal chance here for his 4th goal.
It's just been too easy.
Well, I mean, Bailey Smith right now is working into 3 votes here. I mean, I know Jeremy Cameron's kicked the 5 goals, but he hasn't done a lot in this second half. Bailey Smith just continued on.
Yeah.
That was a good kick too. So Shannon Neal. Said this earlier in the game. Every single game we see him, he seems to keep on improving.
Goal.
And now Shannon Neal kicks it straight through. With relative ease, the Cats just keep on pushing out this margin. You'd think the guy who's almost leading the Brownlow medal would be, cited a bit more from the opposition, but no, he's on 39 touches now, Bailey Smith, and he just continues on.
What's he on?
I'll have a quick look. I'm guessing at least 130 now.
125, I think it would be.
130.
It is 130. Perfect. I'm taking that.
Yeah, I'm taking that too. Anyone who's doing AFL fantasy and has him. Is Dempsey getting a goal? Ooh, I wouldn't put it past him at this stage. They're kind of banking in all of them. I'm assuming Theo's going to be putting some money on. Has probably put some money on him getting that. Did you put him on Did you put any bet on?
I didn't put a multi on today. It's just the fact I need a Grymeyers for 20, 25 to Parrish, and something else, but I can't remember. But it's going to come through. Should.
So Holmes taps to his own advantage and sockers it off the turf. Bouncing ball towards half forward. Myers couldn't gather it. Great trap from Roberts. On to right. Immediate pressure once again. The blue and white jumpers have been immense with the pressure today.
Let's get an update.
So Neal with the tap again. Caldwell put the head down. Burrowed through nicely. Gets the clearance towards centre half forward. Stewart went down, couldn't take the mark. Wealthy broke past a couple of tacklers inside the forward 50. Great smother from Duncan. Working hard. Caddy took the ball. Handballed, almost turned it over. Then eventually they do, but O'Connor's wrapped up. Last leg, just need Dempsey now. All right, mate, we've got you covered.
But yeah, my multi came through.
You what?
My multi came through.
All right, my brother's multi came through, Theo. So now we're just looking for a Dempsey goal. Atkins trying to get it out of there, did well. Kick towards the middle of the ground. Bounce past Dangerfield. Cameron over to Dempsey. Here he is from just outside 50. He takes a bounce. He looks around. Go for goal. Dempsey kicks and goals. There you go, Theo. There's the goal you wanted. There's the goal you wanted, Theo.
I was actually going to say before you said it, I was like, no, he's not kicking one today. He's had two other opportunities. He's not going to get it.
He looked around, Dempsey. He looked for an option. He went to handball, and then eventually he said, I'll do it myself.
He's kicked, I think, a goal in the last 8 games, I reckon. Maybe 9 games so far this season. So
That was the most exciting part of the second half. Trying to get one of our chatters a fucking goal for their multi. Well, that was as quick as you wanted, Theo. Maybe with your lucky charm. Good finish there from Ollie Dempsey as well. Looked around. Probably had a couple of options, but realised, no, I need to get this multi finish for Theo, and he did. But now the margin's, 68 points? Oh, it's getting a bit ugly. Stanley tap. Smith, just bounces to him. Gets it towards centre half forward with the kick. Close, got it spoiled away from him. Lands to the feet of Myers. He goes in short for Cameron. Strong hands. I think it was paid a free kick anyway. Oh, Jeremy Cameron takes the advantage.
you can't do that.
I think Jeremy Cameron's allowed to do whatever he wants.
You can't actually do that. He's either on the mark or...
I think the umpire just doesn't care at this point.
Whatever.
Yes, boys. Did anyone have Jeremy Cameron for 6 in their multi? Had me stressing? No, we got you covered, mate. We always knew. I think that's twice though this year I've had people come into the stream and say, is this person going to get a goal or 30 touches or something? And as soon as they say that, the next moment they kick a goal. I can't remember who he was kind of on the mark.
Sort of, maybe.
Sort of.
Graham Myers has had a good second half.
Yeah, he's working his way into it. Well, now Jeremy Cameron's got 6. It's hard to get past him for 3 votes here, Jeremy Cameron. He's lucky. He is getting game time. He just hasn't done a lot.
He's had a lot of game time because he's been down Geelong's end the entire night.
Oh, Caddy should have marked that. Stewart spun a full 360, almost turned it over. Lau handball, that towards the boundary line. Umpire should give him.
It fumbled over. There's no way that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He has been on the ground. He just hasn't had a lot of it. He's been playing on Shannon Neal the whole day.
Yeah,
it's been a tough debut for him. So umpire throws it back into play. Half forward here for Essendon. Blitzars with the tap. Martin try to break a tackle. Ball up.
I think that Essendon need to look at their tactics. Like, both Holmes and Smith have had, 65 plus disposals today?
Probably more than that. Nearly up to 70 now. But you're right. Yeah, they've done nothing to try and quell their influence. Brian Myers has been all over the ground as well. And he's the best kick in... That's insufficient in 10. Won't be paid. But, I mean, they've Brian Myers is the best kick inside the forward 50 in the competition. He would have had at least 5 to 6 kicks inside that forward 50
Especially
today.
in the second half.
Yeah, and they've just let him roam. Yeah, I don't think the tactics of this game have been good. I mean, I know there's a lot of injuries to their defensive 50, but I still think they still would have won this game by 50 plus points if they had some better players in. So turnover there from Essendon. Stengel went to run away. The kick almost turned it over. Humphreys, little tap on, worked to their advantage. Duncan to Guthrie. In towards the middle of the ground they go. Close. Where's Jeremy Cameron? They look forward now for Dempsey in the one-on-one. Clark did well to get a fist onto it. Dempsey gets at the back. Try to gather it. Shrug the tackle. Little arch of the back. Handle over the top to Myers. He's looking everywhere for a pass. And eventually, he'll dab it home. No, he won't. So maybe looking for another goal here, the Bombers, to try and just make the scoreboard look a little bit more respectable. He's your cousin, is he? I'm from Sydney and didn't get a chance to watch the debut of his game. I don't think he's done too bad. He's just been a very tough matchup against... I mean, the Cats, Shannon Neal and Cameron, just very hard matchups to go up against. Maybe send him forward, eh? Try and get him a goal. I mean, fucking hell, someone's got to look likely. Oh, another fucking drop mark. Socket off the ground by Close. Off to Manor. Didn't even look for a pass, just dribbled it through.
I think 100's looking alright at the moment.
There's still 7 minutes left. It's up to, 81 points now.
This is
looking dangerous now.
Just another... From an
Oh,
experienced player.
McGrath.
Such an experienced player, though.
Yep.
You just can't have that. I mean, bro, this is just like Globetrotter shit at the moment now.
He'd want to have kicked it too, man, because, like the commentators are saying, Cameron was all on his own in the goal square. Oh, 5 goals to nothing in this final term for the Cats.
Well, it was said...
Yeah, you said it like halfway through the third term. This could be a 100-pointer, and it's getting pretty close now.
Scores from turnover in the forward half. Far out.
Yeah, just
That's
in the
horrible.
forward half. It's 62 points there. Stanley with the tap. Holmes towards Setterfield as well. Couldn't gather it. Goldstein was held for a moment. Atkins running, ducking and weaving. Gives it out to Mullen. He'll kick it forward for a kick downfield. He'll go to Stengel.
Would you like take one of them off or something like maybe a Holmes or a Jez or someone?
I mean, for AFL fantasy wise, I wouldn't, but for a Cats perspective, you might as well. Stengel looking for Cameron.
Yeah.
He said he's got Bailey Smith. Oh, in fact, it's Manor. Couldn't take the mark. Fought hard for it though. Hamble on the outer to Duncan. Now Tyson Stengel hasn't seen a lot of it today. He snaps on goal, and Blackiston did well to spoil it out of bounds. A lot of players under the age of around 18 years of age, the Bombers today. A couple of debutants as well in Archer May and Blackiston. They've shown a couple of good signs, but it's been a tough day at the office. Brought down Merritt, was looking for a high one. Didn't get it. Yeah, it's going to be a day of licking the wounds here for the Bombers. They've been taught a lesson. Goldstein tap. Dempsey tried to get it out of there. McGrath wrapped up. You know, this kind of reminds me. It's a bit. I know it's a bit of a harsh thing to say, but this definitely reminds me of the drug days. You know, when they had to change their whole team around. There's not a lot out there you can work with at the moment. But I mean, they'll get some players back. They've got some really good signs. You got Caddy. You got Kako. You know,
You still got
Johnson.
Merritt.
This guy looks good. I like the
Still
look.
got Merritt.
Yeah, but even then, I think he's... Yeah, I don't know. Johnson's looked good. I've liked him. I've liked a few of their younger players, but I think it's definitely... It's like on that day when they had a lot of those younger kids, it was definitely about trying to find what was there.
Yeah.
They've seen a few, but that's another turnover. Max Holmes looking everywhere. Who's he going to go to? He decides to go to Reece Stanley. Don't think he's kicked the goal today.
No, he did. He kicked the first goal, remember?
Did he?
From
No, I didn't make the
yeah.
disc. I thought it was touched.
No, he didn't.
He did well on the waffle. I mean, there was definitely a reason why they picked him up in the mid-season draft. I'll agree with you. I don't think... It's a hard day to really judge your debutant when he's done... Like, he's been up against probably the best forward... Well, no, Shannon Neal's not the best, but he's up against a much bigger forward. So, Reece Stanley hasn't troubled the goal scorers so far.
Got it.
He comes in now, and he piles on the pain even more.
87 points.
Well, I'm going to go take a piss because I don't think there's going to be much more to say. I'll be back in 2 minutes. You call this debacle. You were right, though. Probably should have called the game previously, but anyway. Ugh, Jesus. Oh, my God.
And another turnover. It's just the lack of experience is really shown in this game. Just there have been a few shining lights, but not a lot. But with 5 minutes and 6 seconds left, they're just waiting for the siren, the Bombers.
I think we all are.
Yeah. As it's bounced again, and Goldstein has been good today, but he's got no one with him. As Holmes gets another disposal, he gives it to Humphries, who's played a really good game of half-back. Kicks it towards the wing, and Dempsey, as Pryor punches it and spoils it back inside the defensive 50, with Shannon Neal getting the ball. Tyson Stengel for his third. Does he pick it up? No. Andy McGrath probably turns it over. No, simple mark and kick. Gets the ball back. And Jackson Pryor goes down the far wing.
Not a great kick.
Not a good kick at all.
Caldwell will gather it and take it out of bounds. Oh boy, get this game over with, please. I've never wanted to see a North Melbourne game more. And right now, what's it? 87. Oh jeez, come on. I mean, at this point, we're just praying for the 100, aren't we?
Well, yeah. At the moment, as a Port supporter, we've got the biggest defeat so far this season. So I want it to be more than 95.
Goldstein with the tap. Atkins trying to gather it. Roberts gave it out the back. Immediately tackled was Perkins. They're working through hands here, Geelong. Atkins eventually has it. Off to O'Connor. Runs a full 360. Gives it forward. Now Dempsey. I think they've put Bailey Smith on ice.
Yeah, 100%. They've put Bailey Smith on the bench. Well, yes.
You might as well, eh?
Yeah.
Oh, Dempsey trying to put the step on Goldstein. Realised that wasn't a good option. Now Humphreys. Kicks it to the top of the goal square. Neal had hands. Couldn't mark. Stengel on the ground. Got the handball out. Atkins hasn't troubled the scorers so far. Back to Holmes. Quick boot to ball. A flying ball eventually goes wide.
Yeah, I'm taking it.
He's definitely been sitting down.
Tom Stewart said
He's had 2 points in this last quarter. So Lau has it in the back pocket. Roberts. Over the top. Johnson just slipped over in the slippery turf. Handball from Holmes. Guthrie. Back. Mullen. Over the top. Bit of slippery on the ground. Close, nearly dropped his footing. Manor. Handball turned it over to Kako. Now Laverde. Just blasted outside of the area for the moment. Going back with the flight. Oh, Tom Stewart. Hasn't seen a lot of it this final term.
98. Give it back to him.
To Atkins. He looked...
Wait, what?
What?
Oh, no, it's the Essendon player. He's got a shoulder.
It's the open side. Myers look for a handball. Realise there's a lead up. And Reece Stanley.
87 points at the moment.
Well, everyone's trying to find a goal here.
I am surprised that Jezza Cameron hasn't come off yet.
I think he probably told Chris Scott, get away from me. I'm trying to kick more goals here. How long left? There's 2:40. So, I mean, look, they're a bit of a chance here, Essendon, of keeping this under 80 points. But if Reece Stanley kicks this one, I'd say it's a bit hard.
I think he's got the distance.
Going to get close. Just wide.
2 goals is 100.
It's 88. 144. It's one of the highest scorers of the year. Setterfield short to Caldwell. Disappointing the Bombers are going so poorly. But I read the report that this season's most players changes. Yeah, it's been... I think they've had the most amount of debutants since 1973 or something. Or the most player changes in the last few years. It's been a lot. And they've got a lot of injuries, I know that. I mean, it's just... Yeah, it's been a bit of a smashing today. Oh, there you go, there's your 100. In the middle of the ground, with ease, to Holmes. Oh, the fake give there from O'Connor. He'll blast it long, towards the one-on-one, with Neal, couldn't mark. Laverde, they've left Cameron at the back here. He'll tap it towards his own advantage, tucked up in the pocket. Snapping ball. Will they get a lucky bounce, maybe? Johnson did well. Ugh, another turnover. Myers. Stanley has time to fumble and bumble and now go long to the pocket. Spoiled by Johnson. I've liked the look of Johnson. He's shown some good signs, the young guy. He's only played in his 3rd game, but he's shown some decent signs. 96 today on the fantasy front. 26 disposals. I've got him in my main team, actually, because of all the...
Did you have a lot of people on buys this week?
Sorry?
Did you have a lot of people on the buy this week?
Yeah. A lot in the midfield. So back in the ruck we go. Stanley taps it down. Goldstein, quick little handball. Got it out to Setterfield. Now Perkins. They should have brought him on a lot earlier too, I think. Not that it would have made a difference. Stengel taps it to his own advantage. Fished it out towards Myers and Guthrie and ball up. So I think maybe the 100's out of the question. There's a minute left. Maybe if they can get a quick goal here, the Cats. But they lead it by what? 89 points.
Yeah, 89.
Goldstein tap. Trying to get it out of there with Stengel. Oh, he somehow dug it out towards Dempsey, who just blasted high and long. It's going to get close. Oh, I think it's through. No way! Oh, well, it's just been their day, hasn't it? Ollie Dempsey tucked up in the pocket, got the luckiest of bounces, and it's just been a Cats day.
And there's 48 seconds for one more goal. That was I don't know how he's actually covered that all the way in then. That is an amazing kick.
All right, goal of the year to contender. Maybe the only thing the Cats haven't been able to do today until now.
I don't know.
Well, there's Theo's second goal. Did you have Ollie Dempsey for multiple goals, Theo? Because that would have just... I don't think you would have had that in your multi, unfortunately. But there's a goal in case you missed the other one. I know he was here for that. I got a lucky bounce too. In pretty... the ground's very slippery. So he's got lucky. He's got a nice little bit of a leg break. Then it just bounced in. Oh, Blackiston nearly touched it. Oh, he's lucky the flag didn't flick it either. Should have moved south when I was younger. Could have been an AFL footballer too. We agree with you, man. I could have been too. It was all about politics, really. Atkins tried to get away from the tackler, get the handball out to Holmes. They're looking for 100 here, the Cats. Can they do it? Blasted towards centre half forward. Johnson will get the free with 30 seconds left. That may well see us through.
But the thing is, the weather they've been kicking today, you never know.
So Johnson just blasted towards centre half forward once again. Stanley, right, did well to just hit him hard there to try and make him take a little bit more time.
Give it to Stewart. Give it to Stewart.
Just go long, Stanley. Fucking hell, you got a minute. We got 20.
Yes, no, do the beautiful kick.
Ah, look at the kick.
The beautiful kick.
To Stewart.
Beautiful.
Inside to O'Connor with 6 seconds left. The Cats are gonna record their biggest win of the year at the home of footy. In an emphatic performance, the Cats have set themselves as good contenders. No, I won't be doing the next game, Pickleball King. I need some time to recover after that.
that was really hard to watch, actually. A lot of time, that was really hard to watch.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the Bombers couldn't do much. The Cats were just too good. We kind of saw this coming, didn't we?
Yeah.
Well, Bailey Smith sat out the last 15 minutes, but what a performance from him. What do you think? It's going to be tough. Hang on. I think 3 votes. Oh, it's tough. I think 6 goals has to get it. Jeremy Cameron with the 3. 2 to Bailey Smith. And then the 1, I could go to Max Holmes or Myers.
Oh, no, I think it's Holmes. Myers played a good second half.
All right, we'll go Holmes with the 1.
He wasn't in the game for the first half.
All right, we'll go with the 1 to Holmes. All right, guys, we'll end the stream there. Thank you for watching and listening. Really appreciate it. No, it's a bit of a slog, this game, but in the end, the Cats win comfortably by 95 points. 23-13, 151 the Cats. Win over the Young Dons, 8-8, 56. Thank you again, guys. We'll catch you all in the next